Chapter 875. Lu Chan has long been accustomed to all kinds of gazes from around him. At this moment, his heart was more surprised to meet an old classmate. Although his relationship with Xiao Lirong was ordinary in high school, seeing her reminded him of the time when they were classmates. Lu Chen's peaceful and kind inquiry gradually calmed Xiao Lirong's shocked mood. She felt that the handsome man in front of her gradually overlapped with the big boy in the back seat in her memory. She swallowed her saliva and said, "Everyone is very good. We often chat in the QQ group, but many classmates have also broken off contact. I heard that they have gone abroad and some are working in other places." As she spoke, Xiao Lirong relaxed and said half jokingly and half seriously, "But no one can compare to you, a big star. Everyone is very proud when they talk about it in the group. Sometimes I tell others that Lu Chun is my classmate, but they don't believe it." She pursed her lips and said with a smile, "Now it's good. Hurry up and take a photo with me. Next time they will envy me to death." Lu Chan couldn't help laughing. "How is one enough? At least 2 photos. My previous QQ number is no longer used. You can add my new number so that it will be easier to contact in the future." He opened the QQ on his mobile phone and clicked on his ID QR code for Xiao Lirong to scan. This QQ ID was Lu Chen's private account. He only added a few relatives and friends in the circle. He didn't use it much, and his previous number had long been abandoned. Xiao Lirong was overjoyed and immediately added Lu Chen's new QQ number. "Ah, your number is really good," Lu Chan said with a smile. "I have a cooperation with QQ, and the other party sent me a beautiful number." Only then did Xiao Lirong remember that Lu Chan was a big star. She couldn't help but ask, "Are you coming back this time to participate in the school's centennial celebration?" Lu Chan nodded. "Yes." Xiao Lirong hesitated and said, "This time, the old monitor also came back to participate in the school anniversary. She organized a class reunion tomorrow night in the group. Do you want to come?" She knew that a star like Lu Chan must be very busy, and as a guest of the centennial celebration, he may not be free tomorrow night, so she just asked in case. "Monitor is back too?" Lu Chan was surprised. "That's quite rare. Count me in, but I don't think I'll be playing for long. Just tell me the location." Old Monitor was the class monitor of his high school class. Because her surname was Ban and she was the class monitor, plus she was very popular in the class, everyone called her Old Monitor. In fact, Old Monitor was not old at all. She was a real fair, rich and beautiful lady. After graduating from high school, she went directly to England to study at a university. "That's great." Xiao Lirong beamed with joy and quickly sent the address of the gathering to Lu Chan. "I'll inform everyone." "No." Lu Chan stopped him and said, "Don't tell me yet. I don't know if he can come. I'll contact you when the time comes." He wasn't sure if he would be free tomorrow night, so it was better to be cautious. Otherwise, if Xiao Lirong went out and he couldn't come, it wouldn't be good. Xiao Lirong understood. "Okay." At this time, Fong Yun came out of the fitting room and saw Lu Chan talking and laughing with a shop assistant, so she walked over curiously. "Little Chan." When Lu Chan saw his mother, he introduced her. "I met an old classmate, Xiao Lirong. Do you remember her?" Xiao Lirong greeted a little shyly. "Hello, Auntie." "Hello." Fong Yun looked at her carefully and smiled. "I still remember. I've seen her a few times. Now she has grown into a beautiful girl. If you didn't say it, I really wouldn't have recognized you. Are you married?" Xiao Lirong was even more embarrassed. Lu Chan helped her out. "It just so happens that Xiao Lirong works in this store. Recommend some clothes for my mother." Xiao Lirong hurriedly took Fong Yun to see clothes. As a result, as soon as Lu Chan sat down, a shop assistant immediately came over and asked with a red face, "Teacher Lu Chan, I am your fan. Can I have an autograph?" Lu Chan saw the word store manager printed on her chest tag and smiled. "No problem." With the store manager taking the lead, several other shop assistants gathered around one after another. Those who wanted an autograph and those who wanted a group photo, Lu Chan satisfied their wishes one by one. In return, he asked the shop assistants to keep quiet so that his mother could shop here. Fortunately, there were no other customers in the store. Otherwise, the Dior store would be surrounded by people. The shop assistants also knew the seriousness of the matter, so no one made a loud noise. In the end, Fang Yun bought 2 sets of clothes and a bag in the store. The store manager gave her a 10% discount. After Luchan swiped his card and paid the bill, he said goodbye to Xiao Lirong and left. However, as soon as the two of them left, many people came to the Dior store. Because some shop assistants were so excited that they took photos with Fang Yun on their WeChat moments, the news spread like wildfire. Everyone came to see the big star. However, they were destined to be disappointed. The next morning, Luchan went alone to Binhai Middle School, where he studied in the past. Considering that it was inconvenient to park near the school, he did not drive his own car. Instead, he stopped a taxi at the entrance of the neighborhood. However, as soon as he arrived at the intersection of Shuefu Middle School, he found that the entire road was under traffic control. There were traffic police guarding the intersection. Only vehicles with special passes could enter and exit. Luchan did not care. After paying the taxi fare, he got out of the car and walked. Anyway, it was only a few hundred meters from here to the school gate. It would not take long to walk. Walking along the paved pavement, the locust trees along the road were as tall and lush as before. Luchan did not know how many times he had walked here in the past. He could still vaguely remember the fragrance of the locust flowers. From afar, he could hear the warm sound of ceremonial music. It was obvious that the welcoming ceremony had begun. However, Luchan was not in a hurry at all because there were many memories on this road. The laughter of running, the noise of playing, the heartbeat of holding hands for the first time. The young man who met his classmate. Now that the locust flowers did not bloom, the beautiful figure was gone, but the sweet, warm, and joyful memories remained in his heart. Suddenly, Luchan missed Chen Fair, who was far away in Beijing. He walked for a short distance of 200 to 300 meters for a full 10 minutes until he was awakened by a passing car. In front of him was Lu Chen's alma mater, Binhai Middle School. This was a national key middle school with a history of 100 years. A tall air arch stood at the entrance. Colorful banners hung from balloons fluttered in the wind. A long red carpet was laid from the entrance to the school. A large group of people gathered at the entrance. Among them, Luchan saw several school leaders that he knew. They were happily welcoming the guests and returning students who participated in the school anniversary. Chapter 876. A shiny black Bentley was parked steadily at the school gate. The uniformed driver opened the rear door. A middle-aged man got out of the car and stood at the beginning of the red carpet. Mr. Zhang. A school leader in charge of reception immediately greeted him and extended his hands to the man with a smile. Welcome back to your alma mater for the centennial celebration of Binhai Middle School. The middle-aged man shook hands with him and said with a smile, "It's my honor." Several reporters rushed out from the side and pressed the shutter of the two desperately. There were also cameramen shooting. 2 primary school students in the uniform of Binhai affiliated primary school came over and gave flowers to the middle-aged man. Zhang Longda was a well-known alumnus of Binhai Middle School. He was a well-known entrepreneur in Binhai and had founded a company with assets of more than 1 billion. It was reasonable for him to receive such a grand reception. Accompanied by the school leader, Zhang Longda stepped on the red carpet and walked toward the signature wall. Reporters followed and took photos along the way. Then another Mercedes-Benz stopped. This scene made Luchan feel like he was holding a movie or music award ceremony. It was more or less a little weird. But in the current environment, many schools often made a big deal of the celebration in order to increase their popularity and tried their best to invite famous alumni to participate. Those who could step on the red carpet were naturally the best. Luchan was among them. Originally, the school offered to provide a special car, but he declined. After thinking about it, Luchan did not join in the fun and went straight in from the side door. He had an invitation in hand, so naturally, he was unimpeded. Because he was wearing sunglasses, the staff in charge of the inspection did not recognize him. After a simple inspection, they waved their hands and let him go. The ceremony was held in the school's auditorium, but it was still early. Luchan was not in a hurry to get there. Instead, he walked around the campus. He had not been back for many years, but the appearance of Binhai Middle School had not changed much. The statue of the girl in the fountain was still there. The thick sycamore tree was still engraved with words, and the path to the laboratory building was still full of leaves. Today was Sunday, and there were very few students on campus. However, in the quiet corner, students could be seen studying diligently. The familiar scene reminded Luchan of bits and pieces of memories. Before he knew it, he had arrived at the third teaching block. He walked up the stairs and arrived at the classroom of Class 5 on the fourth floor. The classroom door was unlatched, and Luchan pushed it open and walked in. The classroom was quiet, and the desks were neatly arranged. There were no students around, except for a woman who was looking at the drawings on the blackboard. She was wearing a plain white dress. Her figure was slender and graceful, and her silky black hair fell over her shoulders. She turned around when she heard the door being pushed open. Luchan couldn't help but be stunned. Old monitor? This beautiful woman was the class monitor of Luchan's high school, Ban Beibei. Although they hadn't seen each other for 7 or 8 years and she had grown up and matured a lot, Luchan still recognized her at a glance. Ban Beibei furrowed her beautiful brows, revealing a puzzled expression. Luchan took off his sunglasses and said with a smile, "It's me, Luchan." Ban Beibei suddenly showed a surprised smile. "Why are you here?" Luchan walked over and said with a smile, "I calculated with my fingers and knew that you were here, so I came to find you. Are you touched?" Ban Beibei smiled and said, "I'm really touched. You are a big star now. I often hear your name in the UK, and I know how famous you are." Luchan shook his head and said, "That's all empty. How are you in the UK?" It was natural to be surprised and sentimental when they reunited after a long time. The relationship between the two was very good. Ban Beibei's father and Luchan's father were business friends, and she had attended the funeral of Luchan's father. However, after graduating from high school, Ban Beibei's family emigrated to the UK, and she also went to college in the UK. Therefore, they lost contact, but the friendship between them did not fade with the passage of time. Ban Beibei studied in the UK and got a master's degree. Now she was working in a Fortune 500 company. This time, she received an invitation from the school, so she came back from the UK to attend the school anniversary. "I also want to see my old classmate. Xiao Lirong told me that she saw you last night." The two sat down to chat, and they were still sitting in the same seats separated by an aisle. Ban Beibei's eyes were bright. "Are you coming to the class reunion tonight?" Luchan said, "If I have time I will definitely come. I also want to see Fang Jian, Zhao Linsheng, Li Yuan and the others," Ban Beibei teased. "I know you are a busy person now. You don't even use QQ." Luchan blushed with shame. "I changed my QQ number. Add me." After exchanging new QQ numbers, Ban Beibei asked intentionally or unintentionally, "Are you still in contact with Xiaoman?" Luchan smiled bitterly and shook his head. "I haven't been in contact for a long time," Ban Beibei said as if she was talking to herself. "She is doing well now. She opened her own company in the deep sea, and I heard that it is doing well." Luchan listened silently, but his thoughts flew back to his youth many years ago. Gu Xiaoman was Ban Beibei's deskmate, and also Luchan's first girlfriend. Their relationship was quite sensational at Binhai Middle School at that time. Unfortunately, like most young love, this beautiful relationship did not come to fruition. Luchan still remembered that when he secretly went on a date with Gu Xiaoman, he asked Ban Beibei to help cover for him. Now that he thought about it, it was really a different feeling in his heart. Luchan did not have the idea of going back to his old love. His heart had been filled by Chan Feier, but the memory of his first love had long been engraved in his soul, and he could not forget it for the rest of his life. Now that he heard news about Gu Xiaoman and knew that she was doing well, it was enough. Luchan asked, "Old monitor, do you have a boyfriend in the UK?" Ban Beibei laughed. "No, I don't like British boys." "Why? Do you want to introduce me?" Luchan couldn't help laughing. "I really don't have anything to recommend." The two chatted and laughed, and talked about many things in the past until someone came to the classroom. "Hey you guys." The person who came was in her 50s or 60s, with gray temples and an old face. Her clothes were very simple, but when they saw her, Luchan and Ban Beibei stood up together and said, "Teacher Kong." This was Luchan's former class teacher, and also the language teacher. Teacher Kong looked at the two of them in a daze, and after a moment, she suddenly showed a look of understanding. "Luchan, Ban Beibei." Luchan and Ban Beibei smiled at each other and greeted together. "Hello Teacher Kong." At this moment it was as if they had returned to the past. Chapter 877. Teacher Kong was very happy to see Luchan and Ban Beibei. At that time there were 57 students in Class 5 of 98 in Binhai Middle School. Ban Beibei and Luchan were undoubtedly the two most outstanding students. Ban Beibei was the class monitor. Not only was she beautiful, but her academic performance was also excellent. Teacher Kong loved her as her own daughter. Ban Beibei worked hard and won honors for the class one after another. Later, she was admitted to a famous British university and studied for a master's degree. As for Luchan, needless to say, he was an influential figure in the school back then. Now, he has become a famous star in the country, and the pride of Binhai Middle School. Now that the two of them returned to school together and appeared in the classroom where they had studied, how could Teacher Kong not be happy? Whether it was Luchan or Ban Beibei, they were also very respectful to Teacher Kong, especially Luchan. At that time he was not a top student in school. Puppy love alone gave the teacher a headache, but Teacher Kong still gave him the greatest tolerance. Binhai Middle School was a key high school in the country. The school had a clear rule that students were not allowed to have puppy love. At that time Luchan openly fell in love with Gu Xiaoman, which caused a great sensation. At that time some school leaders said that they would give Luchan a demerit, but Teacher Kong protected him. In the end Luchan only received a warning. Ban Beibei remembered this matter very clearly, and now she felt that it was very interesting to talk about it. Teacher Kong did not take credit. She smiled and said, "The main thing is that Luchan and Gu Xiaoman's love did not affect their studies, otherwise I would not agree. Now there are also students in love. I told them that as long as they can guarantee their grades and promise not to do anything to hurt each other, I will not interfere." Luchan gave a thumbs up and said, "Teacher Kong is wise." Teacher Kong shook her head and said, "In fact, whether in college or high school, although the relationship between a boy and a girl is very beautiful, it is difficult to have a happy ending. Only when you go into society and mature can you understand what real and responsible love is." She smiled and asked Ban Beibei, "Beibei, do you have a boyfriend now?" Ban Beibei shook her head with a red face. "Not yet. Don't worry, the most important thing is to find the person you like and the person who likes you." Teacher Kong laughed. "Then Luchan, when are you getting married?" Everyone knew about the relationship between Luchan and Chan Feier. Although Teacher Kong did not care about the entertainment gossip, he knew about it very well. Luchan said, "If there are no accidents, it should be next year." "Ah." Ban Beibei pursed her lips and smiled. "This is big news. Has it really been confirmed?" Luchan and Chan Feier had been dating for several years. They were known as the best model couple in the entertainment industry. Countless fans hoped that this beautiful relationship would blossom as soon as possible. There were even many people who wanted to force them to marry each other on their blogs. Although Ban Beibei was far away in the UK, she often visited domestic websites and blogs, so she knew a lot. If Luchan's words were to spread, it would definitely make the entertainment headlines. In front of the teacher and old classmates, Luchan had nothing to hide. He said frankly, "Basically it has not been made public for the time being. When the time comes, I will invite you and Teacher Kong to the wedding." Ban Beibei clapped her hands. "Then I have to prepare the red envelope first." Teacher Kong looked at the two students with a smile. In fact, she was more optimistic about the couple of Luchan and Ban Beibei. Unfortunately, the two were not destined to be together and could only be good friends. Ring ring ring. At this time Luchan's cell phone rang. He immediately picked it up, said a few words and hung up, and then said, "The celebration in the auditorium is about to begin. Teacher Kong, teacher, let's go together." "Oh." Teacher Kong was annoyed. "I forgot about the business. Let's go." The three left the classroom together and rushed to the school's auditorium. When Luchan appeared in the auditorium, everyone's eyes were focused on him. Binhai Middle School has been educating people for 100 years and has trained batch after batch of excellent students, including government officials, well-known entrepreneurs, and literary and artistic figures. But among the young people, no one is better than Luchan. He is like the sun shining. At this celebration, Luchan, as one of the alumni representatives of Binhai Middle School, spoke on the stage. Although it was only a short 7 minutes, it won many warm applause. In the afternoon, Lu Chun attended the Lu Chun Bursary Fund ceremony also held in Binhai Middle School. This was a fund project established by his personal donation of 50 million yuan, mainly used to encourage and help outstanding and poor students in Binhai Middle School, affiliated high school, and affiliated primary school. This fund project was established a few months ago. It was Lu Chen's return to his three alma maters, affiliated primary school, affiliated high school, and Binhai Middle School. His mother, Fang Yun, served as the chairman, managing and supervising the fund to ensure that the funds were in place. After the ceremony, Lu Chun was received by the mayor of Binhai City and the secretary of the municipal party committee, and then he was interviewed by the TV station. It was not until 8 o'clock in the evening that he hurried to the gathering place. The gathering of Class 5 of 98 was held in a local 5-star hotel in Binhai. When Lu Chun arrived, a group of high school classmates had already finished their dinner and moved to the hotel's karaoke bar. When the waiter opened the door of the big room and invited Lu Chun in, the people inside were wailing and singing. The long sofa was filled with at least 30 people. Everyone was drinking and chatting. It was very lively. At first, no one noticed, thinking that it was a waiter or a student going to the toilet. It was a girl with sharp eyes who recognized Lu Chun. Ah! She involuntarily opened her eyes wide and screamed with her top soprano voice, Lu Chun! Lu Chun took off his sunglasses and said with a smile, Liao Shasha, your banshee's howl has been trained to the peak. This girl's name was Liao Shasha. She could emit a scream that could shatter the eardrum. Therefore, the boys in the class jokingly said that she had mastered the banshee's howl skill. Now it was used by Lu Chun to tease her. The atmosphere in the room instantly froze. Several mic lords holding the microphone were speechless. Only the accompaniment music echoed. Lu Chun smiled and said, Lao Wu Fang Jian Zhao Lincheng Li Yuan Zhang Zhenqin. Long time no see. The long time no see instantly closed the distance. The next moment, the atmosphere in the room was restored to the festive atmosphere. The male and female students all gathered around, shook hands and hugged Lu Chun, patted his shoulder and said hello. The estrangement and strangeness of not seeing each other for many years was washed away by the joy of reunion. Chapter 878. Binhai is not a big city, and its history is not very long. Its population and urban size are in the middle and lower reaches of cities of the same level, but its economy is quite developed. Especially in the last 30 years, many Binhai people have traveled across the sea to seek development in foreign countries. They are quite famous among overseas Chinese. Those Binhai people who have become rich in business have a strong sense of hometown. Many of them have come back to start businesses and companies, and use various ways to repay their hometown. Donations and good deeds are everywhere. Lu Chen's donation of 50 million yuan to his alma mater was actually following this tradition. On the other hand, it was also because he bought an island in the Maldives not long ago, which caused some criticism on the internet. Although it didn't set off any storm, donating money to education undoubtedly helped to consolidate his image. In a few years, Fang Yun will retire. She is reluctant to leave everything in Binhai and settle down in Beijing. With the title of chairman of the foundation, her retirement life will not be so lonely and boring. Fang Yun is also very supportive of this. After attending the centennial ceremony of Binhai Middle School, Lu Chun came to Hangzhou without stopping. On the evening of the 31st, he will participate in the New Year's Eve concert held by Zhidong Satellite TV at Hangzhou Huanglong Stadium. 2 years ago, Lu Chun bought a house in Hangzhou's Shizi Haoyuan, so now that he is back in Hangzhou, he is not afraid of not having a place to stay. This 470 square meters penthouse mansion is empty most of the time. Before Lu Chun came, he had notified the property management company to have it cleaned. The house is large and clean, but because no one has lived in it for a long time, it looks deserted, which makes Lu Chun, who is alone, regret that he should not have bought such a big house. However, he doesn't really regret it. This house is a rare and out-of-print type. In the past 2 years, the price of houses in Hangzhou has risen sharply. He can easily sell this house for 20 million yuan, and he is sure that someone will be willing to take it over. After resting on the sofa for a while, Lu Chun took out his mobile phone and called Gao He. Old 3, why did you think of calling me? Gao He quickly picked up, but there was a hint of ridicule in his voice. Did you suddenly remember that there is your own company here? Lu Chun was speechless. To be honest, he didn't pay much attention to Happy Entertainment. He only gave them a few game ideas and left everything else to Boss Gao. Pretty much all of Happy Entertainment's daily operations were managed by Lu Xi's side. She sent 2 people from the finance department to be stationed in Hangzhou, and as the chairman of the company, he only spent a few days here. From a business point of view, Lu Chun was completely unqualified to be the chairman. It was too easy for him to be taken over by others. Who knew when he would suddenly go bankrupt? But Lu Chun trusts Gao He. Perhaps this kind of trust is incredible to outsiders, because in the face of money and interests, friendship is difficult to withstand the test. Lu Chun really doesn't care. Gao He has never failed to live up to his trust. Happy Entertainment is thriving, and several mobile games launched this year have made a lot of money. Cut the crap. I've just arrived in Hangzhou, and I'll be freeloading your lunch. Gao He smiled and said, "Let me treat you? Then let's go to the back street and eat." Lu Chun smacked his lips. "Okay, I'll see you at the old place." This time Gao He was shocked. "Are you really going to the back street to eat?" Lu Chun despised. "What's the problem? I'm going now. You can come with your wife." Gao He said, "Xiaoling can't come now. Let's meet and talk." His voice was a little strange. Lu Chun didn't think much about it. He hung up the phone and rushed to the back street from home. The back street was not called the back street. It was a small street behind Zhonghai University. It was popular because there were many small restaurants and small hotels. Lu Chun and his roommates often ran to the back street to have a sumptuous meal. The familiar back street, the familiar scenery, the familiar smell of oil, and the familiar menu. After graduating for a few years, it seemed that nothing had changed here. Lu Chun, who returned here, couldn't help but recall his carefree college days. The old place where they agreed to meet was called Sichuan Cuisine Restaurant. The main dish was Sichuan cuisine. Boiled pork slices, pickled fish with pickled cabbage, and beef lung slices, spicy tofu, and so on. The taste was authentic and the price was cheap and the quality was good. Lu Chun came early, so he grabbed the seat. If he came in a hurry, there would be no empty table. The owner of the restaurant was still the middle-aged uncle with a silly smile on his face. The proprietress was still the shrewd proprietress, but the waiter was replaced by a refreshing Sichuan girl. She asked Lu Chun what he wanted to order in Mandarin. The little girl was holding the order list in her hand, and her eyes were fixed on Lu Chun's face. She probably felt that Lu Chun looked ridiculous wearing a pair of big sunglasses. The customers here were mainly students, not like him. Lu Chun coughed twice and ordered 4 or 5 dishes in a row, all of which were the boss's specialties. In order to protect his throat, he rarely eats too spicy food, but it doesn't matter if he enjoys it occasionally. Otherwise it would be too boring to worry about this and that. As soon as he finished ordering, Gao He came. Although he is the general manager of a well-known game company with a market value of more than 1 billion yuan in the industry, Gao He, who came to the back street to eat with Lu Chun today, doesn't look much different from before, except that his temperament has matured a lot. "I deliberately changed my clothes and came here." Gao He smiled and said to Lu Chun, "On the way here, I was thinking about whether you will cause trouble when you come here to experience life. I was thinking about whether I should call the police first." "Bullshit. What do you mean by experiencing life?" Lu Chun couldn't help but give him a contemptuous look, but unfortunately it was blocked by the sunglasses. "This is called recalling the good times of the past. You won't understand even if I tell you." Gao He laughed. "The old rules, the last one to drink first." Lu Chun skillfully picked up a bottle of beer and opened it. He first poured a glass for Gao He. "You didn't drive here by yourself. By the way, what happened to Xiaoling?" Just now he heard Gao He's voice on the phone was a little strange, and he wondered if something had happened. Gao He picked up the glass and drank it in one gulp. He smiled and said, "I'm going to be a father. Xiaoling is at home." "What the hell?" Lu Chun was stunned. "You didn't call me to tell me such a big thing." Gao He returned a contemptuous look. "I'm a father, not you. What's there to say to you? Unless you are willing to be the godfather of my child." Lu Chun was convinced. "You are ruthless." "Seriously?" Gao He picked up the bottle and filled it up for himself and said, "I'm going to be a father soon." "When are you going to be a father?" Everyone is very concerned about this problem. Luchun laughed. Let's not talk about this first, let's drink. Chapter 879. As the most popular star in the domestic entertainment industry, and he also owns a number of companies under his name, Luchun's net worth is also unmatched in the industry. In the latest issue of the entertainment industry's wealth list, Luchun ranks first with a net worth of 3.7 billion. But the industry generally believes that this is an underestimation. Luchun's net worth is at least 5 billion, and it will not be a problem for him to reach 10 billion in the future. He is fully qualified to participate in the competition of the wealth list. Although Gao He is far from being comparable to Luchun, he also owns 10% of Happy Entertainment's shares. At present, the industry's valuation of Happy Entertainment is about 3 billion, and 10% is 300 million. Two billionaires sat in a backstreet restaurant filled with the smell of oil and smoke, drinking Westlake beer that cost 3 yuan a bottle, eating fish with pickled cabbage and chili that cost 28 yuan, and spicy tofu that cost 10 yuan, but he was very happy. You know what? When I was in Beijing, I often thought of the fish with pickled cabbage and chili here. Luchun picked up a large piece of tender fish, stuffed it into his mouth and said vaguely, then I went to other restaurants to eat, but I didn't feel that it tasted like this. The fish with pickled cabbage and chili in this Sichuan restaurant can be regarded as the best. The main ingredients are fresh grass carp slices, pickled cabbage pickled at home, and chili and other seasonings brought back from Sichuan province. The fresh, fragrant, spicy and sour taste are simply irresistible. When he was studying at Zhonghai University, a group of people in Luchun's dormitory often came here to have a sumptuous meal, and the fish with pickled cabbage was a must-order dish. Beast, you eat so fast. Gao He quickly grabbed a piece of fishtail and said with a smile, then I'm much happier than you. As he spoke, he quickly picked up the fish. The two guys, who were worth hundreds of thousands of yuan a minute, fought over a plate of fish with pickled cabbage and chili that cost 28 yuan. In fact, it's not bad now. In the past, people were fighting over a pot of vegetables, which was the most delicious. Excuse me, are you Senior Luchun? Just as the two of them were happily fighting over it, a timid voice suddenly came from the side. The one who asked the question was a girl sitting at the next table. She stared at Luchun. Big eyes were filled with excitement, and her pink cheeks were flushed. There were 3 other girls at her table, and they all looked as if they had discovered a new continent. Cough cough. Gao He's pickled cabbage was stuck in his throat and he almost choked to death. Someone recognized me? Luchun really wanted to say, I'm not Luchun, I just look more similar, and put on the sunglasses that were previously placed on the small dining table. But after thinking about it, he smiled at the girl and said, Hello, junior marshal sister. Since he called him senior, he must be an alumnus of Zhonghai University. Ah! If the girl didn't dare to believe it before, then she was 100% sure now. She immediately let out a scream of joy. This scream didn't matter, but it attracted the attention of everyone in the restaurant. At mealtime, the Sichuan restaurant was full of seats. There were dozens of people, most of whom were students of Zhonghai University. They immediately recognized Luchun. There was a sensation in the restaurant. Luchun is undoubtedly one of the most famous alumni of Zhonghai University, and he is definitely the most familiar and proud senior among the current students. His achievements in his career and his various deeds are almost legendary among the teachers and students of Zhonghai University. Almost everyone has heard of Luchun's songs and seen the TV and movies made by Luchun. Now this legendary figure was actually eating Sichuan stir-fry like everyone else in front of them. One could imagine the psychological impact brought about by this. Fortunately, the quality of the college students is high, and there are not many brain-dead fans. They will not immediately rush up to ask for autographs, photos and hugs, but they also took out their mobile phones and took pictures of Luchun and uploaded them to the QQ group in their circle of friends. Luchun smiled bitterly at Gao He. It seems that he can't eat this meal. He knows very well how terrifying his fans are. Once people know that he is here, it is estimated that it will not take long for the entire backstreet to be surrounded by them. At that time, it will not be easy for him to leave. The girl just now took out a book and a pen from her bag and presented them to Luchun like a treasure. Senior Luchun, I am your fan, can you give me an autograph? Luchun has always been very tolerant to his fans. Not to mention the other party is his junior sister. He nodded and took the pen and quickly signed his name on the other party's book. With this junior sister as a demonstration, other junior sisters who have long been ready to move finally couldn't keep their modesty and gathered around, asking for autographs or photos. Gao He had to get up to maintain order. His tall and strong appearance was inevitably misunderstood as Lu Chen's assistant. Lu Chen didn't put on airs. He didn't refuse any of their requests. Whether it was autographs or photos, he satisfied all of them one by one. It just made the owner of the restaurant want to cry but have no tears. Everyone is chasing stars without eating. You are Senior Gao He, right? Unexpectedly, a student recognized Gao He. Gao He looked dumbfounded. Yeah, do you know me? Just now, others thought that he was Lu Chen's assistant or bodyguard. They never thought that someone would know him. You and Senior Lu Chen are the pride of our Zhonghai University. The boy who recognized him said with a smile. I am the CEO of Happy Entertainment. I have played Happy Farm Comedy Plants vs. Zombies and Angry Birds. They are all very fun. I am looking forward to the new games. Gao He was a little embarrassed by the praise, because he didn't expect that he could also become the pride of Zhonghai University. In fact, Boss Gao, who is essentially a technical geek, has not yet fully realized his position in the industry. Happy Entertainment has launched a series of popular games before and after, which has become the benchmark of domestic mobile games. In recent years, Happy Entertainment can be said to have been imitated and has never been surpassed. The mobile game trend brought by it is regarded as a classic game development case, and has been studied and discussed by countless people in the industry. As the most important figure in front of Happy Entertainment, Gao He is no longer the IT dog who struggled at the bottom. He has also left his own story among the students of Zhonghai University. It's just that Gao He has been immersed in leading the team to make new games. The daily affairs of the company are managed by his wife and other executives. He rarely stands on the stage, so he doesn't feel much. And in his heart, he always believes that everything he has obtained comes from the support and help of Lu Chen. There is nothing to be proud of. But Lu Chen believes that without Gao He's efforts and hard work, Happy Entertainment would not have such glory. He is also the pride of Zhonghai University. Chapter 880. In the end, Lu Chen and Gao He didn't manage to finish the meal. Seeing that there were more and more people in the restaurant, and many passers-by who didn't know the truth were attracted, they quickly left before things got out of hand. In the afternoon, the two came to the headquarters building of Happy Entertainment together. Lu Chen is the chairman of Happy Entertainment and owns most of the shares of this emerging game company. However, since the establishment of Happy Entertainment, the number of times he appeared in the company is really pitiful. This is definitely abnormal. Basically, no big company will have such a situation, especially a new company with a booming career. It's hard to imagine that the founder won't show up for a long time. But Happy Entertainment is really different from ordinary companies. The original intention of its establishment was that Lu Chen didn't want to see Gao He and his girlfriend break up because of career and life conflicts, so he helped his friend in college. Lu Chen provided creativity and funds, and handed over the establishment of Happy Entertainment to Gao He, and let the latter do it. What he gave was not only these but also trust. He trusted that Gao He would not let himself down, and Gao He did not disappoint Lu Chen's trust. He worked hard to bring Happy Entertainment to where it is today, and at the same time he reaped both career and love. It was this sincere friendship and mutual trust that allowed the two to not have any contradictions in the management of Happy Entertainment. Except for Lu Xi's financial supervision, Lu Chen has never told Happy Entertainment what to do at work. He is more like the spiritual leader of Happy Entertainment, or even a mascot. In fact, with the title of chairman of Lu Chen, it was really too easy for Happy Entertainment to attract talents. Even at the beginning of its establishment, this famous signboard could make people look up to it and bring a lot of convenience. Today, Happy Entertainment has more than 300 employees, at least more than half of which are Lu Chen's fans. They are also proud to work in Lu Chen's company. When they meet with friends outside, they can gain countless envy. Therefore, when Lu Chen comes back occasionally, he doesn't need to promise any salary increases or promotions. Big boosts the morale of the employees. But this time, Lu Chen didn't just come to Happy Entertainment for a simple inspection. Because in one day, That is January 1st, 2019, Happy Entertainment's first large-scale online game, The Proud Smiling World, will officially launch its open beta. Lu Chun invested in the establishment of Happy Entertainment. In addition to helping Gao He, another important purpose was to build a series of industrial projects around Wuxia IP, of which The Proud Smiling World was one of the focuses. Like Happy Farm, which has been sold to QQ Games, and the popular Plants vs. Zombies and Angry Birds and so on, it is just a practice, which is used to accumulate the strength of the company. It was by relying on these short and quick projects that Happy Entertainment easily made a lot of money and invested it in the development of the online version of The Proud Smiling World. In order to ensure the quality of the game, the online version of The Proud Smiling World uses the latest virtual 3D engine. The cost of buying the copyright alone is as high as $10 million. It supports 3D and 5D dual mode vision, supports simultaneous game between computer and mobile, and will support VR mode in future versions. This game was set up more than a year ago. Happy Entertainment invested more than $200 million, hired a group of elites in the industry, and outsourced some of the content to top companies to assist in the production. Now they finally have a reliable finished product ready to go online. Come and play. Let's see how our game is doing. In the office of Happy Entertainment's headquarters, Gao He excitedly led Lu Chun to sit in front of a computer. The 32-inch large screen shows the login interface of The Proud Smiling World. In fact, Lu Chun has seen the expansion packs, CG scenes, character styles, game scenes and so on of the online version of The Proud Smiling World, but it is definitely the first time to try it out. According to the account and password provided by Gao He, Lu Chun logged into the game with great interest. It hasn't been online yet. There is only one internal test server in the server. After choosing to enter, the character ID will come out, a level 60 test account. The class of the test account is Blade Master, the sect is Huashan, and the way to add skill points is Swordmaster style. Lu Chun controlled the character to rush all the way to the wild monster area near Huashan, and the monsters were scared shitless by the sword. Although it is the first online game of Happy Entertainment, the production level is no worse than the domestic counterparts, especially with the latest 3D engine. Whether it is the architecture, scenery, character weapons, or light and shadow effects are very good, and the game experience is still very smooth with the high special anti-aliasing and so on. The most painstaking part of the production is the skill effect. When the solitary 9 swords is used, the flowing light is gorgeous and dazzling, coupled with exciting sound effects. It really makes people feel a kind of blood-boiling feeling. Moreover, players can switch between 3D or 5D game mode at will. They can play on computers or on mobile phones, which can be said to take care of the needs of most players. Lu Chun played for a full half an hour before he went offline. Great! He gave Gao He a thumbs up. Thank you for your hard work. Success is by no means a fluke, especially for a large-scale online game like this. No pains, no gains. If you want to make a good game, you need excellent creativity, you need a lot of capital investment, and you need the cooperation and hard work of the team. Although Lu Chun rarely appears in Happy Entertainment, he also knows how much Gao He has paid for this game. Xiaoling even complained to Lu Shi that he often works overtime in the company and doesn't go home all day. Hearing Lu Chun's praise, Gao He and the other main creative staff around him were all happy and felt that their hard work has been rewarded. Gao He smiled and said, "This VIP account is specially created for you, and the equipment is the best. In the future, you can play at any time if you want to, and bring popularity in the game." Don't look at Gao He as a technical geek. In recent years, he also has a basic business mind. He knows how useful Lu Chun's golden signboard is. If he doesn't play it, it would be a waste of God's gift. So before Lu Chun came back, he deliberately told the technical department to create this account for Lu Chun. Gao He proudly shook his mobile phone. "When you played the game just now, I recorded it for you. I will put it on the blog and advertise it again, haha." Lu Chun is convinced. He didn't expect Gao Da's wooden head to finally be enlightened, but he has no reason to object. He should support it. Chapter 881. The short video shot by Gao He, after being carefully edited by the technicians of Happy Entertainment, was posted on his blog by Lu Chun, which immediately attracted a large number of fans. The number of fans on Lu Chun's blog is unmatched, and it is full of gold. Unlike many star artists who rely on zombie fans to create false popularity, every blog post he posts often attracts a large number of fans' clicks, reposts and comments, and often appears on the homepage's hot list. Therefore, his blog can be said to be an excellent publicity platform in the online world, with great advertising value. Many advertisers have approached Chunfei Media, hoping to promote through Lu Chen's blog, but no matter how high they offered, they were all rejected by Lu Chen. Lu Chen would only advertise for his own company, such as making TV shows, movies, and albums. The effect of advertising was much better than spending money on the media. The online game The Smiling Proud Wanderer was the key project of next year's Wuxia IP plan. Naturally, it was worth his effort to promote it. I didn't think Ai-chan was also a fan of online games. Hey, what's this game? It looks very good, please introduce it to me. The Proud Wanderer, open beta on the 1st. I have downloaded the client and registered an account, waiting to go online. Brother in front, give me the download address I want to play. Then if I register an account, will I be able to play this game with Chan? Ha, I'm going to join the Huashan sect. Who wants to join? Please take me with you. The official website of the Proud Wanderer was officially launched as early as a month ago, gradually releasing content such as expansion packs, game introduction, official forum, and so on. Now you can download the client and register an account. In order to maximize the convenience of the game players, the account of the Proud Wanderer can be bundled with QQ. At present, the number of effective registrations has exceeded 1 million, which is not bad, but not particularly good. After all, there are too many kinds of online games and mobile games on the market, and players have a lot of choices. Many popular online games have a large number of loyal fans, and it is not easy for new games to come in and compete for this big cake. Although Happy Entertainment has launched a series of popular games, they are all small casual games, which can't be compared with large online games with more than 10 gigabytes, so many players are in a wait-and-see state. Therefore, if the Proud Wanderer wants to win a good start, early publicity is very important. The problem is that because too much money has been invested in the production, the publicity of this new game is not strong, and many people don't know about it. Now Lu Chen posted a video of him playing games on his blog, and everyone knew about it. Not only did his fans support him, but many friends in the circle also forwarded and left messages, and the popularity rose all of a sudden. Moreover, the Smiling Proud Wanderer itself is already a popular IP, and has a very high reputation. After being gently pushed by Lu Chen, the online game The Smiling Proud Wanderer, which will be launched for open beta the day after tomorrow, immediately appeared on the homepage of Insperblog. For Gao He and the main creative staff of Happy Entertainment, this was almost a miracle. In just 1 or 2 hours, the number of fans of the official V of the Smiling Proud Wanderer skyrocketed, the number of downloads on the official website increased explosively, and the number of account registrations kept rising, as if they had been injected with chicken blood. The most important thing is that the increase of these important data does not cost a penny. Although everyone knows that Lu Chen is very famous, they never thought that his star effect would be so strong, which is better than spending millions of advertising. Spending millions of advertising is time-consuming and laborious. Okay. Lu Chen patted Gao He's shoulder a few times and said, "The next step is up to you." On January 1st, in addition to the online beta of The Proud Wanderer, his third album Lu Chen will also be officially released on the market, and there will be a grand signing party in Beijing on the same day. Lu Chen still had a lot of signings to attend in major cities across the country, followed by a national concert tour on February 14th. In addition to the post-production of the last 2 parts of The Proud, Smiling Wanderer, there was no way he could find time to take care of Happy Entertainment. But Lu Chen believes that with the efforts of Gao He and others, The Proud Wanderer will be a success. The next day is December 31st, the last day of 2018. Lu Chen first met up with his assistant, and then rushed to Hangzhou Huanglong Stadium to participate in the New Year's concert of Zhidong Satellite TV. The local satellite TV station held a New Year's concert. First of all, Shonan TV ate crabs, and won a good market reputation and ratings, so it attracted other satellite TV stations in China to follow suit. Last year alone, 5 satellite TV stations held their own New Year's concert, and Zhidong Satellite TV was a step behind, holding it for the first time. Although it was more or less intended to test the waters in terms of popularity, Zhidong Satellite TV was definitely not behind. A total of more than 20 star artists, including Hong Kong and Bao Dao, were invited to participate, and there were many big figures among them. Lu Chen is undoubtedly the most popular and has the biggest position. In order to let him choose to participate in the New Year's concert in his hometown, Zhidong Satellite TV spent a lot of effort. As a result, Lu Chen and Chen Feier had to be separated, one to participate in Zhidong TV, and the other to participate in Beijing TV. In addition to the veteran overlord Shonan TV, as well as Shanghai Satellite TV, Deep Sea TV, and so on, there will be a ratings war tonight. It is estimated that many viewers will not know how to choose the TV station, or they will have to change it. When he arrived at Huanglong Stadium, Lu Chen was immediately warmly received by the staff of Zhidong Satellite TV station. The New Year's concert of Zhidong Satellite TV station started at 19:30 in the evening. Lu Chen came ahead of time at 3 p.m. to familiarize himself with the venue and equipment, and to cooperate with the staff, dancers, accompaniment, and so on to rehearse with the staff, so as to avoid any accidents during the live broadcast. This was a privilege that only big stars had. The extras and ordinary actors had already rehearsed many times, and the small stars had to come a few days in advance, and the treatment was also very different. In recent years, the New Year's concert has become popular, and the various satellite TV stations have scrambled for stars, and the performance fees have also risen. Usually they can invite 100 or 200,000, but at this time it has increased at least 2 or 3 times. In order to poach Lu Chen, Zhidong Satellite TV station offered a high price of 5 million to Chunfei Media, and it was still after tax. Even so, if they didn't play the family and friendship card, they might not be able to win against Xiangnan and Beijing Television. In the backstage area lounge of the stadium, Lu Chen met Tian Tian. Chapter 882. Director Tian. Lu Chen smiled at Tian Tian in a teasing tone. I haven't seen you for half a year and you've gotten prettier. It was not a compliment. Tian Tian was indeed very beautiful that night. A diamond-studded evening gown accentuated her charming figure. She wore light makeup and was smiling. Her eyebrows were full of charm, making her look beautiful and elegant. Tian Tian rolled her eyes at Lu Chen's teasing and said coquettishly, I'll tell Sister Feier that you're flirting with me. Let's see how she'll deal with you. Lu Chen surrendered. All right, you're ugly today. After the joke, the two got down to business. Tian Tian was both a good friend of Lu Chen and Chen Feier, as well as a business partner. Star Factory Media, founded by Tian Tian, had Lu Chen and Chen Feier's shares. The first reality talent show, China's Voice, became an instant hit, and was now the ace entertainment show of Zhidong Satellite TV station. The idea for China's Voice was provided by Lu Chen, and the copyright was registered. With the show's popularity, the copyrights had been sold to many countries and they made a lot of money. It was also by relying on China's Voice that Star Factory Media's reputation in the industry soared. Tian Tian became a rising star in the upper echelons of the industry, and appeared on the cover of fashion magazines several times. In many ways, Star Factory Media was similar to Happy Entertainment. Lu Chen held shares and provided creative models, but they were also managed by others. Tian Tian came to find Lu Chen not just to catch up with friends. The two were in different places and both were very busy. It was not easy to meet each other, so Tian Tian made a long story short and asked directly, about what I told you last time, do you have any good ideas? In the industry, Lu Chen had the reputation of turning stone into gold. Not only did he make many celebrity artists popular, but the projects he invested in and managed were all successful. His creative inspiration seemed endless. Tian Tian had personally experienced the magic of Lu Chen. When Star Factory was first established, she would never have imagined that China's Voice would become such a huge success. At the beginning, Tian Tian still had the idea of being content with a little wealth, thinking that she could create a small career of her own after leaving Zhidong Satellite TV station. But now, she was eager to make Star Factory Media bigger and stronger, and even go public. She did not hide her ambition from Lu Chen and Chen Fei, and to realize her ambition, just relying on China's Voice alone was far from enough. Star Factory Media needed more competitive products. Naturally, Tian Tian went to Lu Chen and confidently asked him for ideas. Lu Chen smiled. He took out a stack of paper that he had prepared beforehand and handed it to the other party. For this matter, Chun Fair had spent a lot of time on pillow talk. He had deliberately squeezed out some time to come up with a plan. Tian's eyes suddenly lit up and she could not wait to snatch it. She did not expect Lu Chun to be so well prepared. Looking at the thickness of the paper, this program plan must be quite complete. Maybe it could be directly launched. Tian had never doubted Lu Chun's talent and strength. Where are we going, Dad? But when she saw the title of the program, she was still stunned. What the hell was this? Out of trust in Lu Chun, Tian still looked at it carefully. Gradually, her expression changed. Sometimes she frowned, sometimes she relaxed, and her eyes flashed with an inexplicable brilliance. There was still some time before the rehearsal, so Lu Chun was not in a hurry to rush her. He unscrewed a bottle of mineral water and slowly drank it. Where are we going, Dad? Was the new program proposal that he specially came up with for Star Factory Media. The creative idea was still derived from the memory of the dream world. It was a popular entertainment program, different from the popular singing and acting talent shows. Where Are We Going, Dad? Was a fresh outdoor parent-child reality show. The target audience was celebrities with children of the right age, allowing them to participate in the show together, presenting a storybook of celebrity family life education. Most importantly, this program was completely out of the recording studio and studio, allowing the participating celebrities' families to experience a different kind of life in the beautiful wilderness. There was too much content and interest to be unearthed. Tian was originally in the industry, and after completing a major project like China's Voice, her ability had been greatly tempered. Naturally, her judgment had also improved correspondingly. Therefore, even before she finished reading the program proposal that Lu Chun came up with, she already felt that Where Are We Going, Dad? Would definitely be a success. It was highly likely that it would become another popular variety show after China's Voice. After flipping to the last page, Tian carefully put the proposal away, then looked at Lu Chun. Lu Chun was baffled. What's wrong? Tian sighed. I really want to open your head and see why you can come up with so many good ideas. Lu Chun smiled and said, Do you think this is a good idea? Of course. Tian said without hesitation. Her pretty face was flushed with excitement. The company has also hired several program planners to come up with several sets of new program plans. They are all singing and dancing. It's completely copying others' ideas. After seeing your plan, I decided to go back and fire them all. Lu Chun shook his head and said, It's not that exaggerated. My plan is just a rough idea. Many details still need to be modified according to the actual situation. If you fire them, who will help you? Tian smiled and changed the topic. Do you think it's okay for us to work with another TV station for this program? Huh. Lu Chun was stunned. Why? China's Voice was a cooperation between Star Factory and Zhidong Satellite TV Station. Because Tian came from Zhidong Satellite TV Station, she had connections in the station, so it was naturally more convenient to cooperate. The most important thing was that Star Factory was in Hangzhou. If they did not choose the nearby one, would they choose the one far away? Tian hesitated for a moment and said, Someone in the station said that the original contract for China's Voice was signed unfairly. They said that I took advantage of it and wanted to revise it. Tian had connections in Zhidong Satellite TV Station, but not everyone liked her. She resigned to start a company and made a lot of money with China's Voice. Many people were jealous and said a lot of strange things behind her back. Tian did not care about these rumors, but she could not bear to overturn the original contract. It was clearly a win-win cooperation. Star Factory made a lot of money, and the satellite TV station was also full of benefits. How could she bear to burn the bridge after crossing the river? Chapter 883. In the eyes of others, Lu Chun's relationship with Zhidong Satellite TV Station was very good. He appeared in Zhidong Satellite TV Station's programs many times, participated in many activities organized by the satellite TV station, and the TV series he starred in also premiered on Zhidong Satellite TV Station. Not to mention that Lu Chun himself was from Zhidong. Thanks to this good relationship, coupled with Tian's own network resources, the cooperation between Star Factory and Zhidong Satellite TV Station, which Lu Chun had a stake in, was also very pleasant. Both sides worked together to build The Voice of China into a top-rated variety program. However, as the saying goes, there are no eternal friends, only eternal interests. It was precisely because The Voice of China was too successful that there were some strange voices inside Zhidong satellite TV station. The key point was the contract signed between Star Factory and Zhidong satellite TV station. The Voice of China was filmed and produced by Star Factory Media and owned the brand copyright of the program. Therefore, after The Voice of China became popular, a series of brand licensing and copyright transfer involved had nothing to do with Zhidong satellite TV station and naturally could not share the benefits. Moreover, Star Factory enjoyed a high share of the program's title, especially this year's exclusive title fee of 270 million, and Star Factory took half of it. Not only that, next year's title fee for the new season would definitely exceed 300 million. With such a big benefit, how could it not make people jealous? When signing the contract, Zhidong satellite TV station did not expect The Voice of China to be so popular, repeatedly breaking the ratings record of reality talent shows. As a result, a large piece of the cake was poached by Star Factory. Of course, The Voice of China was invested and produced by Star Factory, and it was reasonable to share the benefits. However, some people in the satellite TV station thought that the former still had a big advantage, and they had suffered a big loss. Such a voice existed last year, and it became stronger today. Some people were jealous of Tian and said strange things, and it involved some internal struggles within the satellite TV station. Some people wanted to make an issue out of it. In some people's view, the success of The Voice of China mainly relied on the strength and promotion of the satellite TV station. The program brand had also been firmly tied to the satellite TV station, and the previous contract was obviously unfair and needed to be revised. They were not afraid of falling out with Star Factory. They could change to Asia's Strongest Voice, China New Voice, and modify the program model to avoid copyright disputes, and then they could swallow all the benefits. This kind of voice is now very popular within the satellite TV station, and it has also caused a lot of pressure on Tian. One of the leaders of the station privately told Tian to pay attention to her image. They're the ones who want to burn the bridge after crossing it, yet they want me to pay attention to the consequences. Tian was filled with righteous indignation. You're making it sound like I don't know how to be a person. Don't you think about how much the station has earned? The money-making ability of a top-rated variety show was terrifying. The exclusive title sponsorship fee could easily reach hundreds of millions, and the advertisements before and after the show were even more lucrative, not to mention the positive impact on the television station itself. Lu Chen nodded. If Tian didn't say it before, he really didn't know that there were so many things inside. He was also dissatisfied with the approach of some people in Zhidong satellite TV, and he fully understood Tian's thoughts. It's not wise to put all your eggs in one basket. After thinking about it, Lu Chen said, it's a good idea to work with another company for the new program proposal. I support you. Tian beamed with joy. I knew you would support me, Lu Chen said with a smile. Then, which company are you going to work with? He just asked casually, but he didn't expect Tian to answer confidently. Some time ago, Shonan TV came to me. They should have heard the news and said that they are willing to take over The Voice of China and sign a 3-year contract with the same conditions. Shonan TV? Lu Chen was stupefied. This was blatantly trying to poach the corner of the wall. Tian continued. I thought that it was unlikely that you and Shonan TV and Zhidong satellite TV would break the contract, so I didn't agree, but if it's a new program I can consider it. They are very sincere. Lu Chen said with a smile. I don't have much conflict with Shonan TV. Even if there is, it has already been said. If you think it's worth it, then there's no problem with cooperating with them. The grudge between Lu Chen and Shonan TV was no secret in the circle, but with the rapid rise of his status in the circle in the past 2 years, Shonan TV put down their status and took the initiative to express their willingness to cooperate several times. Lu Chen did not regard Shonan TV as an enemy or anything. The past was long past, and he had no grudge against Shonan TV. It was also a good thing to have the opportunity to cooperate. Tian was relieved. That's good. I'll talk to them later. She waved her fist and said, I will let some people know that I am not someone to be trifled with. Lu Chun was amused. Tian blushed at his smile and said quickly, I'll go prepare first. I'll treat you to supper in the evening. Tian was one of the special guest hosts of Zhejiang Satellite TV's New Year's concert tonight, so she also had to rehearse on stage in the afternoon. She didn't come to see Lu Chun specifically. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye, the afternoon passed and night fell. Lu Chun did not leave the stadium after the rehearsal. He had a simple working meal backstage, and then waited for the live broadcast of the party to officially begin. It was still early, and he had just eaten, so Lu Chun got up and walked out of the lounge, only to find that the backstage area was already very lively. The singers, artists, dancers, musicians, and staff who participated in the performance were gathered together, nervously and orderly completing the final preparations. Teacher Lu. Teacher Lu. Lu Chen's appearance immediately attracted everyone's attention, and those singer guests greeted him warmly. Several Lu Chun looked a little familiar, but he couldn't tell their names. Out of politeness, he responded to them one by one. While smiling politely, he secretly regretted it in his heart. He didn't like this kind of social interaction very much. He felt like a panda, and some people were very good at taking advantage of the situation. They kept pestering him, and all kinds of compliments made him feel embarrassed. Brother Lu Chun. Fortunately, the appearance of Mu Xiaochu saved Lu Chun. Tonight, Zhejiang Satellite TV's New Year's concert invited MSN, so Mu Xiaochu was also backstage. The good relationship between Mu Xiaochu and Lu Chun was well known in the circle. She held Lu Chun's arm and smiled, so naturally there was no room for others to interrupt. Several small stars who couldn't find an opportunity could only secretly envy them. At 7:30 p.m., the 2018 to 2019 Zhejiang Satellite TV New Year's concert officially began. Hangzhou Huanglong Stadium, which could accommodate 70,000 people, was already full. Chapter 884. The laughter of the sea, the surging tide on both sides, floating and sinking with the waves, only remembering today. The heaven laughs, the world tides, who loses and who wins, God knows. Hangzhou Huanglong Stadium. On the big stage, Lu Chun and Liao Jia sang the theme song of The Ocean's Roar of The Smiling Proud Wanderer, accompanied by the September Band. In the movie The Smiling Proud Wanderer, this song was created by Lu Chun and sung by Lu Gangsheng and Tan Hong together as the interlude and ending song, and it was also the main melody of this martial arts drama. With the success of the movie The Smiling Proud Wanderer, The Ocean's Roar has also become a well-known classic, so when the two sang together, there were countless fans in the audience singing in unison. Originally, Zhejiang Satellite TV intended to invite Lu Gangsheng and Tan Hong to participate in this New Year's concert, but the former had long been scheduled to perform in Hong Kong Satellite TV, while the latter had no intention of appearing on the big stage again. Therefore, this song was reinterpreted by Lu Chun and Liao Jia. Liao Jia also agreed to the invitation of Zhejiang Satellite TV because of Lu Chun. He liked this song even more than Tan Hong. In fact, it was also him who proposed to sing The Ocean's Roar with Lu Chun. The rivers and mountains laugh, the misty rain is far away, the waves wash away the world of mortals, how many do you know in the secular world? The breeze laughs unexpectedly provokes loneliness, the lofty sentiments still remain. This song The Ocean's Roar is grand and heroic, with a natural and unrestrained feeling in the vicissitudes of life. The whole song is like a surging river, flowing for 1,000 miles, giving people a very carefree feeling. It also complements the movie, and is regarded as the most outstanding theme song in domestic movies in recent years. And many music critics think that this is also one of Lu Chun's best works. Although The Ocean's Roar was composed by Lu Chun, he was not the original singer. Therefore, he sang this song with Liao Jia tonight. Although the arrangement and the background music had changed a lot, the artistic conception and spirit of wandering in Jianghu with the sword remained unchanged. Among the 70,000 spectators sitting in the Huanglong Stadium tonight, many were Lu Chun's fans. They had traveled thousands of miles to Hangzhou City just for Lu Chun. Of course, they were very familiar with The Ocean's Roar. Similarly, there were many people who had seen The Smiling Proud Wanderer. They were listening to the familiar melody and singing and watching the clip of the movie on the big screen. The autumn wind was cool, and the river water was clear. The two best friends were on a floating wooden boat, singing the unrestrained and unrestrained song of being born in the secular world. The long gown and scholar's hat were floating on the river. Under the dusk, the melodious sound of the zither could be heard. In the vast sea, a laugh could be heard. How could one not be moved by this scene, this song, and this sound? The heroic spirit is still there, smiling like a fool. When Liao Jia finished the last sentence, he suddenly swung the microphone in his hand and shouted, "Awesome!" This awesome instantly won the cheers and applause of the audience like a tsunami, setting off a new wave of climax of the grand concert tonight. Liao Jia laughed, opened his arms and hugged Lu Chun hard, and then turned around gracefully and left the stage. He didn't attend the New Year's Eve concert to show his face or make money. He just wanted to have a good time. After singing the ocean's roar, his mind would be clear and he would be satisfied. He also left the stage to Lu Chun. On the big stage, a bright spotlight fell on Lu Chun, making him the only focus of the whole stage and the whole stadium. The cheers, and applause gradually subsided. Only the light sticks were still waving, and the support cards with Lu Chun's name were still waving, drawing dazzling lights and shadows in the dark auditorium. Facing the tens of thousands of audience, Lu Chun smiled and said, "Tonight, I am very happy to return to my hometown and stand on this stage again to sing for you. The year 2019 is coming. First of all, I wish you a happy new year and all your wishes come true in the new year." After that, he bowed deeply to the audience. The enthusiasm of the audience, which had just been suppressed, suddenly burst out again, like an unstoppable volcano. "Lu Chun! Lu Chun!" Countless people shouted his name, and many fans couldn't help standing up and waving the light sticks in their hands desperately, hoping that Lu Chun would notice their existence. Lu Chun straightened up and continued, "The next song is a new song." Before he finished speaking, he was immediately interrupted by another burst of cheers from the audience. Many fans liked Lu Chun. First of all, they liked his songs, liked his original classic works, and liked to get a steady stream of surprises from him. Lu Chun's talent in music creation had long been unquestionable. Although because Lu Chun put his energy on film and television, from time to time there were doubts in the circle that Lu Chun's talent has been exhausted. They were all slapped in the face. Now Lu Chun once again gave his fans a surprise, but it was not a very unexpected surprise. This surprise was for the tens of thousands of audience present, and also for the tens of millions of audience in front of the TV. Today was the last day of 2018, and in 3 hours it would be 2019. In order to welcome the arrival of the new year, a total of 6 domestic TV stations held New Year's Eve concerts, including almost half of the star artists in the entertainment industry. Since the starting time of the New Year's Eve concerts of each TV station were basically the same, the competition for the ratings was extremely fierce, especially in the prime time now, where it was directly bare-chested. The audience held the remote control in their hands and had the greatest autonomy. They could watch whichever TV station they wanted to watch, and often only to find their favorite stars or songs, so the real-time ratings data fed back often fluctuated greatly. But at this moment, Zhidong Satellite TV's ratings ranked first, directly crushing the second-ranked Shonan TV by 2 points, and it was gradually widening. Although such a lead was temporary, it was enough to make Zhidong Satellite TV proud. Only Lu Chun could create such a miracle. This song is included in my new album, which will be released nationwide tomorrow. Lu Chun took the opportunity to advertise his new album, which at this time could at least be worth millions of advertising fees. And today is the first time I will sing in public. I hope everyone can like it. The name of this song is Blue and White Porcelain! As Lu Chun's voice fell, an ink painting of the Jiangnan Watertown appeared on the giant LED screen behind him. A blue and white porcelain appeared with the ripples of the water, and the name of the song Blue and White Porcelain appeared in everyone's sight. The Huanglong Stadium quieted down in an instant, and many people couldn't help holding their breath, for fear of hearing even one of the lyrics wrong. Chapter 885. Many people believe that Lu Chun's achievements in music far exceed others. Although the TV series and movies he starred in are all popular, they can't compare to his contribution to the Chinese pop music world. Lu Chun's earliest compositional style was folk songs, and he created a unique campus folk song, led the new trend of domestic pop music, and brought up a group of original folk singers. Not bad. Subsequently, his creations involved light rock and the most popular love songs, and he also took out several popular themes and ethnic works, which expanded his fan base. In terms of pop music, Luchan has established himself as the king of Chinese pop music world with a series of fine and classic works. In addition to his huge influence in China, many of his works have been covered by people and are popular in many Southeast Asian countries. He has many fans in South Korea, Japan, and other places. This diversity of creative styles is undoubtedly a distinct brand on Luchan's musical achievements. Every one of his works has been studied by people in the industry, and those record media and entertainment companies that are most sensitive to the market are always paying attention to Luchan's movements, including many creative singers. Nothing is more worthy of their attention than Luchan's new songs. Tonight's New Year's Eve party of Zhidong Satellite TV has an unparalleled ratings among a specific group of people. They listen to the New Year's work brought by Luchan on TV, on computers, or with mobile phones, which was included in Luchan's third album. Maybe this new song will bring about a new trend in the music world. The blue and white flowers are outlined in a simple embryo, and the brush tip turns from thick to light. The peony depicted on the bottle is just like your first makeup. The sandalwood fragrance slowly passes through the window, and I understand your thoughts. The brush on the rice paper has been put down halfway. The glaze rendering the charm of the painting of a lady is privately hidden, and your sweet smile is like a budding flower. Oh, this blue and white porcelain is a masterpiece of China style. It describes the sorrow of parting between lovers very tactfully and delicately, hidden in a subtle yet unique charm, like a green olive that can be slowly tasted in the mouth. In terms of artistic conception, the first thing this song presented to people was a misty and hazy Jiangnan ink landscape picture. Between the faint colors, one could vaguely see the white dress of the beautiful woman and her skirt fluttering in the wind. The lyrics were beautiful and full of charm, as if it was a beautiful letter written by the window, with hundreds and thousands of twists and turns, intertwined with love, extremely exquisite. In terms of melody, blue and white porcelain was like a mountain stream flowing quietly on a rock. It was clear and bright, winding and lingering, just like celadone that cared about its own beauty. It was simple and elegant without any pretentiousness. But the most touching part was Luchan's interpretation of the song. It was affectionate but not boring, clear but not weak. It was as if he was narrating, and every word that entered the ears moved the heartstrings. The azure sky waits for the misty rain, and I'm waiting for you. Smoke rose in spirals, thousands of miles across the river. At the bottom of the bottle, the calligraphy was engraved to imitate the elegance of the previous dynasty. Just a foreshadowing of my meeting you. Oh, Hangzhou was a very unique city. She was a gentle and moving young lady. Under the light and heavy makeup of West Lake, she transformed into a curtain of misty rain in the south of the Yangtze River. Under the fragrance of Longjing tea, under the osmanthus flowers, every trace of meaningful and elegant. This city and the temperament of blue and white porcelain were almost perfect, so it was used by Luchan as the new song for tonight's concert. This blue and white porcelain was also a good song that needed to be savored carefully. It would not give people a strong sense of impact at once, but the more you listened to it, the more it tasted. In the tide of applause and cheers, Luchan, who finished singing Blue and White Porcelain, bowed to thank the audience and then left the stage. Tonight he would fly back to Beijing. When Luchan's flight took off, a large number of concert clips had appeared on Waves's blog, and Blue and White Porcelain was directly pushed to the homepage of the hot list. The most enthusiastic response was from music critics. Their love and praise for this song were very high. Some music critics regarded it as a new breakthrough in Luchan's music creation, and predicted that it would create a new genre, making people look forward to Luchan's new album, which would go on sale tomorrow. After nearly 2 years, Luchan finally released his third album. This album, named after him, attracted the attention of a large number of fans and the industry from the beginning. As of Christmas on December 25th, the pre-orders for Luchan's album had exceeded 1 million copies. Of course, this pre-order included a variety of package combinations, from the cheapest single-disc CD of 20 yuan to the gold limited edition commemorative set of 8,888 yuan. And this was already an impressive achievement. Because online pre-orders needed to be paid in full, this new album had not yet been officially released, but Chunfei Media had already raked in more than 100 million yuan. After deducting production, channels, promotion, taxes, and other costs, there was at least a 30% profit. For other singers, this is an unimaginable miracle, because today's pop singers rarely rely on selling albums to make money. Everyone goes through advertising, business, entertainment, and other channels to make money. 9 out of 10 people will starve to death if they stay in their own land to sell records. And even if they sold albums, they mainly went the way of online albums. If they sold tens of thousands of copies, it would be worth holding a celebration party. After all, although copyright management was quite strict, piracy of pop songs was unavoidable and strangled. On the one hand, the latest songs could be downloaded with a click of the mouse. On the other hand, they needed to spend money to buy it, which was a great test of human nature. Most of the people who were really willing to support were fans. And in this regard, the terrifying popularity that Liu Chun had accumulated over the years burst out violently. When Liu Chun returned home in Beijing, it was already past 3 o'clock in the morning on January 1, 2019. It was more or less a pity that he could not welcome the new year with Chun Fei. Putting down his luggage, Liu Chun took out clean clothes from the wardrobe and took a hot shower in the bathroom. After drying his hair, he changed into pajamas and crept to the bedroom. The bedroom was lit with a small night light, and the faint orange light shone on the big bed. Chun Fei, who was covered with a down quilt, was immersed in a dream with a sweet smile on his face. No one knew what kind of dream he was having. Liu Chun quietly lifted the down quilt and got into bed. A warm and fragrant smell instantly rushed into his nose, making him exhale comfortably, and his whole person relaxed. It felt good to be home. He leaned over and kissed Chun Fei on the forehead, and reached out to turn off the night light. At this time, Chun Fei woke up from her sleep with a, "Ah!" She blinked and saw Liu Chun lying beside her. Note: Blue and White Porcelain Lyrics. Fong Wenshan / composer. Zhou Jieluan. Chapter 886. You're back. Trying to open her sleepy eyes, Chun Fei murmured, "What time is it now?" Liu Chun put his hand on the back of her neck and carefully pulled her into his arms. He said, "I just came back. It's still early. Go to sleep." Chun Fei turned sideways and pressed herself against Liu Chun. She adjusted her posture to make herself more comfortable. She rubbed her head against Liu Chun's chest like a cat eager to be pampered. She even nibbled him mischievously. Liu Chun couldn't help laughing. He only felt happy and satisfied in his heart. The two of them leaned against each other without speaking. They could feel the warmth and love from each other. They only hoped that time could stop at this moment forever. Liu Chun was the most popular male star in the country, and Chun Fei was also qualified to be called the most famous female star. The two of them had common careers and their own careers. The time they spent together was not as long as the time they spent working together. Therefore, whether it was Liu Chun or Chun Fei, they cherished the private time that belonged to them very much. They made each other a spiritual harbor in their busy lives. Sleepiness came quietly. Liu Chun couldn't help yawning because of the tiredness of running all the way. However, at this moment, Chun Fei suddenly said, I have something to tell you." Liu Chun's mind was already a little confused. He asked subconsciously, "What is it?" He didn't hear the hesitation and uneasiness in his girlfriend's voice. Chun Fei bit her lip and said softly, "I'm pregnant." Liu Chun smacked his lips and asked vaguely, "What is it?" The next moment, it was as if a bolt of lightning flashed in his mind, making his consciousness suddenly sober. Liu Chun suddenly opened his eyes and asked in disbelief, "You mean, I'm pregnant?" Chun Fei hugged him tightly, buried her head in his arms and nodded. "Ha!" A great joy rose in his heart, instantly drowning Liu Chun's entire body, making him feel as if he had been electrocuted from head to toe. His whole body involuntarily trembling. "I'm going to be a father." At this moment, Liu Chun wanted to announce to the world that he was going to be a father. The surprise and happiness came so suddenly that he couldn't believe it. He hurriedly asked, "When did you find out? Did you go to the hospital for a checkup? How long has it been?" In fact, thinking about it carefully, when the two of them were together, they didn't take any protective measures seriously. Especially when they were passionate, they didn't care that much. Chun Fei's pregnancy wasn't a big surprise. Chun Fei raised her head from his arms and said with a red face, I was a little suspicious last week. When you went to Hangzhou, I bought a pregnancy test stick and tested it. Then the day before yesterday, I went to the hospital for a follow-up. It has been more than 4 weeks. Lu Chan couldn't help but complain. Why didn't you tell me such a big thing earlier? Chun Fei pouted and said, I was afraid that it would affect your work. It was only for 1 or 2 days. She looked at Lu Chan seriously, and there was a flash of uneasiness in her eyes. You won't be unhappy, will you? Lu Chan was stunned and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How can I be unhappy? I'm really too happy. At this moment, Lu Chan finally felt the weakness and uneasiness in Chun Fei's heart. Without thinking, he hugged her tightly and said, Fei, let's get married. He had wanted to say this for a long time. It was a little late to say it now, but it was good that he said it. Chun Fei's body trembled, and her eyes were filled with tears. She wouldn't tell Lu Chan that she had been waiting for him to say this. Because of her family, she had an inexplicable fear of 2 people getting married and living together. She had seen too many men and women in the entertainment industry break up and get together, so she didn't have 100% confidence in the relationship between her and Lu Chan. Until now, when she heard Lu Chan's firm request, she finally saw her heart clearly. Let's get married. Chun Fei nodded hard, and tears fell from the corners of her eyes. Don't cry. Lu Chan was so distressed that he quickly kissed away the tears on her face. It's not good for the baby. Chun Fei rubbed his pajamas hard to wipe away her tears. She said angrily, If you start to care about the baby now, will you love the baby more than you love me in the future? Lu Chan knew that this was not the time to be reasonable, so he quickly coaxed. How can that be possible? I love the baby and I love you. Both of you are the most important. Chun Fei snorted and said discontentedly, You only know how to coax me. Who knows what you're thinking in your heart? Lu Chan could only smile bitterly. However, Chun Fei's mood finally calmed down. She leaned into Lu Chan's arms again and asked softly, Do you like boys or girls? Do you think Auntie likes boys more? Lu Chan smiled and said, My mother doesn't value boys more than girls. I like girls more. What's the saying? A daughter is a father's sweet little cotton-padded jacket. Chun Fei pinched him. She was your little lover in your previous life. Lu Chan surrendered. Actually, we can have a few more children. We can have both boys and girls. It's best if it's lively. Chun Fei went to the main point again. Do you think I'm a pig? She said again. We have to have 2 children. It's too lonely to have one. The more Lu Chan thought about it, the more excited he became. No matter how many children we have, the first one is the most important. I'll call my sister now and ask her to stop all your work arrangements for this year. I'll also call Mom. Chun Fei was speechless. It's the middle of the night now. Let's not talk about it. She was still a little hesitant. Lu Chan objected. How can we not talk about it? If we don't talk about it now, let's talk about it tomorrow. I want to post it on my blog. He smiled and said, I want to tell everyone that I'm going to be a father. I want to tell the whole world the happiness I have. No. Chun Fei said shyly, We're not married yet. It's not good to let everyone know. Besides, if you post it on your blog, people will say that you're using my pregnancy to promote your new album. It's not good. That's true. Lu Chan patted his head. He was a little muddle-headed. The entertainment industry was too complicated. It was better to keep a low profile as much as possible. Then let's go home together in a few days to register. I'll tell Mom then and set the wedding date. Chun Fei nodded obediently. Lu Chan suppressed his excitement and said, It's very late. Let's sleep. It's very important to rest. He reached out and turned off the night light, and the bedroom suddenly fell into darkness. But for the rest of the time, Lu Chan basically couldn't sleep. He hugged Chun Fei, recalling the bits and pieces of the past between them, looking forward to a beautiful and happy life in the future. Tonight was destined to be a sleepless night. Chapter 887. When Lu Chan woke up in the morning, it was already 9 o'clock in the morning. Usually, he would wake up around 6 o'clock and exercise for nearly 2 hours. At 9 o'clock, he would basically enter work mode. It was rare for him to sleep so late. However, the situation last night was too special. The surprise of Chen Feier's pregnancy made Lu Chen sleepless all night. He only fell asleep after 6 o'clock. When he woke up, Chen Feier was still clinging to his arms. Looking at his beloved, Lu Chen couldn't help but smile. He lowered his head and kissed her hard on the lips. After being harassed by him like this, Chen Feier woke up with a moan. Lu Chen smiled and said, "Good morning, mother of the child." Chen Feier, who had just woken up, was stupefied, and immediately understood. She pouted coquettishly and punched him twice in the chest, inadvertently revealing her coquettish charm, which made Lu Chen's mind ripple. Although they had known each other for several years, his attraction to Chen Feier had never decreased. Instead, he became more and more infatuated with her. It was like drinking a cup of mellow wine. The more he tasted, the more delicious it became. Naturally, he had the urge to do it. Chen Feier, who was snuggling in his arms, immediately noticed it. She giggled and opened her little fist that was pounding on Lu Chen's chest. She stretched out her index finger and drew circles on his firm chest. In the past, Lu Chen would definitely transform into a wolf and swallow Little Red Riding Hood in his arms. However, he really couldn't do it now. Thinking of the baby in her belly that had just started to develop, he could only endure it. Looking at Lu Chen's depressed and sullen expression, Chen Feier couldn't help but laugh. She twisted in Lu Chen's arms and whispered in his ear, "There's still a year. Can you endure it?" Lu Chen said firmly, "You have to endure it even if you can't. Actually, it's not a problem. As the saying goes, after tasting the marrow, one would know the taste. It would definitely be a little difficult in the beginning, but it would be fine once one got used to it." If he did not even have the willpower, Lu Chen would not have persisted in practicing martial arts every day for 4 years. In the entertainment industry, many celebrities had scandals of cheating on their wives when they were pregnant. In the past, such people were the targets of Lu Chen's contempt. How could he become the kind of person he despised? Chen Feier was overjoyed. "Really? Good boy, do you want me to get you a concubine? I am very magnanimous." This was really possible. As long as Lu Chen moved to Xinjiang or Taiwan, he would be able to remarry according to the laws of the Special Economic Zone. Moreover, he could still catch the last train now. In a few years, the laws would be revised. To put it bluntly, with Lu Chen's wealth, if he wanted to marry more, who knew how many women would be willing to be his second wife or third wife? But Lu Chen did not hesitate to refuse the temptation and replied sternly, "No, you are enough for me." Chen Feier snorted, glanced at him coquettishly and said, "Don't think I don't know that your sister Xiaochu and Tian actually like you very much." Lu Chen smiled bitterly. "I really don't have that kind of idea." How could he not know that Mu Xiaochu had always been secretly in love with him? How could he not know that Tian was secretly in love with him? It was just that as a man, he had to be responsible and responsible. He had already made a lifelong commitment to Chen Feier. How could he betray his oath of love? Therefore, he could only let her down and make up for it in other ways. Lu Chen also knew that the reason why Chen Feier suddenly revealed this was most likely because she was pregnant and had a sense of insecurity in her heart. She was not usually jealous. Thinking about it, he felt more and more pity for her. He hugged Chen Feier and said seriously, "Don't think too much. In this life, you are the only one I want. No matter how good or beautiful others are, they can't replace you." The touching words of love softened the depression in Chen Feier's heart, making her truly feel Lu Chen's hot and unreserved love for her. Her eyes rippled with tenderness. Suddenly, she turned over and pressed Lu Chen down, saying in a sweet voice, "Don't move." The next moment, she kissed Lu Chen's neck, then kissed his chest, and then further down Lu Chen. "Huh? Ha." When Lu Chen finished washing up and came out of the bathroom refreshed, it was already past 10 o'clock. As soon as he arrived at the study, he received a call from his sister. "You're back?" "I'm back. Don't forget the signing at Xinhua Bookstore in Wangfujing in the afternoon. It starts at 2 o'clock on time." "Got it. Don't worry." After hesitating for a moment, Lu Chen said, "Sister, let me tell you something." Hearing that Lu Chen's tone was not right, Lu Xi immediately became serious. "What is it?" "Ahem." Lu Chen coughed twice and said, "Feier is pregnant." "Pregnant?" His sister's tone instantly rose by 3 degrees. "Pregnant. Lu Chun coughed and said, "It's enough that you know. Don't tell anyone for the time being. Fei Er's work has to be rearranged." You. If it had been Lu Chun, his sister would probably have grabbed a broom and whipped him. "What's going on? I'm not prepared at all. You suddenly tell me, 'Hey, when are you getting married?' You can't have a wedding with a pregnant woman. Let me check the date first." "Oh, did you tell Mom?" And probably because it was too sudden, his sister, who was originally smart and capable, suddenly became a bit talkative and even a little incoherent. "You have to take care of Fei Er's health. Don't let her get tired." "Oh, you don't understand these things." Stop, stop, stop. Lu Chun quickly interrupted her and said, "I've thought about it carefully. First of all, I will adjust Fei Er's work arrangements. Anyway, I will definitely retire from the entertainment industry this year. Cancel all the work and activities that can be cancelled first." After a pause, he continued, "I want to wait until my first concert on Valentine's Day, and then take Fei Er to my hometown to register. After the national concert tour, I will officially announce this matter. We will get married on Love Island at the end of March. As for the wedding preparations, I'll have to trouble you." Lu Xi was silent for a moment, probably digesting the impact of this matter, and then said, "Get married on Love Island at the end of March. It's not good to go so far, is it?" Lu Chun said, "It's Fei Er's wish to get married on Love Island. She has now checked that it will be about 4 weeks, so March is not too late. In addition, I am going to buy a private plane so that it will be more convenient to travel." When he bought the island in the Maldives, Lu Chun had thought of buying a private plane, so that it would be very convenient for him to take a vacation on Love Island. Now he was just moving the plan forward. Lu Xi sighed and said, "You are really a local tycoon now. Forget it, let's do it according to your plan." Lu Chun said with a smile, "Finally, congratulations on becoming an aunt." Lu Xi was speechless. Chapter 888. After finalizing the plan related to Chun Fei Er with his sister, Lu Chun was relieved and sat down in the study. Turning on the computer, he first logged on to the Waves blog. As a result, he found that many people in the circle who followed each other had at him, all celebrating the release of his new album and wishing him a big sale in advance. This morning, Lu Chen's third album, Lu Chun, was officially launched nationwide. At 9 o'clock, the digital album was released on QQ Music for all fans to buy and download. Listen to it first. It was already past 10 o'clock. After replying to several friends on his blog, Lu Chun clicked on the main website of QQ Music to check the sales of the digital album. 225370. According to the data of QQ Music, in just over an hour, the new album Lu Chun has been purchased and downloaded by more than 200,000 people. The world's record industry has long declined. The previous tapes and CDs have basically withdrawn from the stage. Although CD records still have a market among specific groups of people, there is no way to compare with the past. After entering the new century, digital music is the real mainstream. This time, Lu Chen's release of his new album adopted the mode of online and offline simultaneous release. Online is the digital album, and offline is a different version of the CD set. Relying on a huge fan base, the relatively expensive offline presale has achieved excellent results, and it is completely reasonable for the online release to sell well. After all, the price of a set of genuine digital albums is only 10 yuan, which is equivalent to 1 yuan for one song. Any fan can afford it. But selling more than 200,000 sets in an hour really broke the record, reaching the point where other singers can only look up to it. Excluding the cost of the channel, the cost of digital version production and distribution can be said to be negligible. 200,000 is 2 million in sales, and the profit is very amazing. And this is just the beginning. According to this hot sales trend, it may not be a dream to exceed 1 million on the first day. However, Lu Chun was not ecstatic because of this. In the face of the surprise of Chun Fei Er's pregnancy and him becoming a father, whether it is 200,000 or 1 million in sales on the first day, it is nothing. In contrast, he is more concerned about the market reputation of this new album. The new album Lu Chun contains 5 old songs and 5 new works. The 5 old songs are actually not old. They are all works that were just taken out last year, and the new works are really new. In terms of the style of the album, Lu Chun presents a variety of characteristics. The works in it cover folk songs, love songs and China style, and the latter is precisely his main promotion. From Jiangnan to the Ocean's Roar, and then to Blue and White Porcelain, Lu Chen's positioning for his third album is to connect the past and open up the future and create a new style. But whether he can win the recognition and love of his fans depends on the market response in these days. What are you looking at? While Lu Chen was browsing the web, Chen Feier, who had just finished grooming, also came to the study. Lu Chen stretched out his hands and let Chen Feier sit on him. Hugging his lover and smelling the fragrance on her body, Lu Chen said with a smile, "I'm looking at the album sales." "Yes." Chen Feier twisted her body to make herself more comfortable and asked, "How is it?" "Not bad. More than 200,000 sets have been sold," Lu Chen said lightly. Chen Feier's eyes widened. "That's 1,000,000 on the first day. Oh, I also want to release a new album." "What new album?" Lu Chen said seriously. "Your job now is to raise a fetus and give birth to a child." Chen Feier smiled. "Then I won't work anymore. You have to support me." Lu Chen couldn't ask for more. "I'll support you for a lifetime." The two of them cuddled for a while in the study, and then went out for lunch together. As soon as they went downstairs, his sister called. She said that she would accompany Chen Feier to talk about something at noon. Her pregnancy was really a big deal. After lunch, Lu Chen rushed to Xinhua Bookstore in Wangfujing to attend the signing ceremony of his new album. According to the plan, in the next week, he would fly to many big cities in China for album signing activities, and at the same time, build momentum for his first national concert tour. This was a prearranged arrangement that could not be changed because of Chen Feier's pregnancy. But after the concert, Lu Chen decided to greatly reduce his work and spend more time with his lover. The signing began at 2 o'clock. Lu Chen arrived at the bookstore of Xinhua Bookstore at 1:20. As a result, he found that there was already a sea of people there. From the first floor to the third floor, it was packed with people. Although the bookstore had arranged a lot of staff to maintain order, the scene was obviously beyond their expectations. A staff member shouted desperately with an electric loudspeaker, asking everyone to line up and maintain order. "Lu Chen! Lu Chen!" Most of these enthusiastic fans were young people, and most of them were girls. They held the new album that had just been released and shouted Lu Chen's name loudly. Seeing this scene, Lu Chen, who was used to seeing big scenes, was also shocked. He came up from the internal elevator of the bookstore, so he immediately discussed with the staff to start the signing in advance to avoid a chaotic scene. When Lu Chen appeared in front of the fans, the whole floor was boiling. "Thank you, everyone." Lu Chen took the electric loudspeaker and said to the excited fans, "I'll start signing now. I only have a small request. I hope everyone will be patient and don't crowd. As long as you come today, I promise that everyone will have a copy. Even if I have to sign in the evening, I will finish signing." The signing place was on the third floor, and the line of fans went down from the third floor to the door of the first floor. If they wanted to sign all the copies, the workload could be imagined. But Lu Chen didn't want to disappoint the fans who had worked hard to support him, so he immediately began to work. One fan after another came up, smiling, communicating, signing, and taking photos. It seemed simple, but when the number accumulated to hundreds of thousands, it was definitely very hard work. From about 1:20 in the afternoon until about 5 o'clock, Lu Chen basically didn't rest except for drinking water a few times. His face was stiff from smiling, his voice began to become hoarse, and his signing hand was swollen. If it weren't for his good stamina and strong enough body, he wouldn't have been able to support it. In the end, it was the fans who felt distressed. Although the fans at the back of the line had waited for several hours, seeing that Lu Chen was so tired, they all said that they didn't want to sign. They were satisfied to take a photo with him. This made Lu Chen feel warm in his heart. After returning home in the evening, he updated his blog. The content was very simple, a photo of the signing scene and a sentence. "I have the best fans in the world." Chapter 889. On January 1, 2019, Lu Chen's third solo album, Lu Chen, was officially released on the market, and the sales on QQ Music reached 107,654 copies on that day, setting an unprecedented record. In addition, Xinhua bookstores all over the country sold more than 100,000 genuine CDs. This part of the sales was new and not included in the album package previously booked, which was also a very remarkable achievement. First of all, Lu Chan has a huge popularity in China. His Inspur blog has close to 120 million followers, and no one can match the number of fans. He can be called the most dazzling star in the entertainment industry. And that's right. In fact, it was nearly 2 years before the last album, Lu Chan album. The demand of fans has already accumulated to a very deep level, so it was normal for it to explode all of a sudden. Finally, it was the quality of the album. Without any surprise, all the works in this new album named after Lu Chan himself were original works by Lu Chan, and even most of the arrangements were done by him himself, which was very rare in the domestic pop music world. And Lu Chan's musical works are recognized as being of high quality both inside and outside the circle. Every song he takes out is at least at the level of fine works, and there is no lack of classics, and his reputation is unparalleled. Therefore, his fans believe that the new album will never disappoint them, and everyone is very willing to spend the money of a pack of cigarettes or a box of lunch to buy a genuine album. After some fans bought the CD record, they deliberately bought the CD player that they did not have before because the sound quality of the CD was better than the digital version. And the fact did not disappoint the fans. The production level of this Lu Chan album was impeccable, and the first work was commendable. Listening to the 10 songs from beginning to end, they were surprised and moved every minute. Many people in the industry also paid attention to this new album. They also bought the digital version as soon as possible and couldn't wait to listen and analyze it. Some music critics were keenly aware of the changing trend of Lu Chan's music style, so fresh and hot articles were published on blogs. Among them, the most frequently quoted phrase was China style. China style was not a particularly new name. Some people in the pop music world had proposed it a long time ago. It mainly used the characteristics of traditional and ethnic music to create popular works, but most of them were nondescript and did not have much influence. Lu Chan had brought the China style into the world of his fans. His first song, South of the Yangtze River, had won numerous acclaim, and the theme song of The Ocean's Roar was sublimated. Now his new songs Blue and White Porcelain, East Wind Breaks, and Fireworks Fade Easily had undoubtedly left a distinct mark on this album. Some music critics excitedly said on their blogs that the era of China style in pop music had arrived. As a result, the words China style quickly became a hot topic on the homepage of blogs and was discussed by countless people. As the initiator, Lu Chan was not in a very good mood. That afternoon, he participated in a promotional signing event for his new album at Xinhua Bookstore in Wangfujing. He signed for more than 4 hours and signed thousands of copies. When it was over, his right hand was completely numb, and he couldn't even hold the chopsticks when he was eating dinner. Lu Xi and Chen Feier were frightened. They hurriedly took Lu Chan to the hospital. Considering that it was more appropriate to see a Chinese medicine practitioner in such a situation, they specially used their connections to find a well-known Chinese medicine practitioner to treat him. Lu Chan felt that the two women were making a fuss. His problem was actually muscle swelling, which should be solved by a cold compress and a hot compress. However, he could not resist their concern, so he had to accept the arrangement. After seeing it, the doctor said that it was not a big problem, so he prescribed medicine and performed acupuncture. As a result, Chen Feier took a photo of his acupuncture treatment and posted it on his blog, with the words distressed and a silently crying emoji. This time the fans suddenly exploded. What happened? What's wrong with Chan? Oh, his hand is swollen. Distressed Chan. He signed too many autographs in the afternoon, right? No wonder Feier feels distressed. In the afternoon, Lu Chan signed a book in Wangfujing. There were too many people, so I couldn't squeeze in. I'm lucky. I feel like crying just looking at it. Please tell Lu Chan not to work so hard. Can you still attend the signing event in Hygiene tomorrow? I feel so conflicted. Me too. Chen Feier and Lu Chan's fans were very similar. Most of the fans felt distressed when they saw the photo, and they told Lu Chan to take care of his health. Lu Chan had always been very healthy, and he was good at fighting. The reason why he had to go to the hospital was that he had signed too many autographs for too long. After returning home, Lu Chan updated his blog. First of all, he thanked his fans for their support. His hand was much better after the treatment, and the signing event in Hygiene tomorrow would not be cancelled. You don't have to work so hard. Chen Feier rubbed the ointment on Lu Chan's hand and said coquettishly, Tell them to control the number of people at hygiene tomorrow. They can't sign their hands off like they did at Wangfujing today. She knew that Luchan was working so hard not only to promote the sales of his album. To be honest, for the two of them, money was just a number. They had earned enough money that they could never spend it all in a few lifetimes. The most important thing was his fans. Luchan was used to not letting his fans down, but he had too many fans. It's not a big problem. Luchan clenched his fists and smiled. I wasn't used to signing so many autographs before. You'll get used to it after a few more times. It's a habit that can be cultivated. Chun Fair squeezed his hand a few times. Look at you. After saying that, Luchan rushed to hygiene the next morning for the second signing. What moved him was that although the enthusiasm of the fans in hygiene was no less than that of the fans in Beijing, everyone lined up in an orderly manner at the signing event at Xinhua Bookstore in hygiene. Almost everyone was holding the album but did not ask for his autograph. These fans obviously knew what happened last night. They didn't want to increase Luchan's burden. They just wanted to meet Luchan, say a few words, and take a photo with Luchan. Because of that, Luchan sang 2 songs from the album at the signing event. The signing event was filmed by many fans and uploaded to the internet, causing a heated discussion among netizens. Just as Luchan said, he had the best fans in the world. Next, in Huhai, Hangzhou, Shanghai, Shancheng, Luchan swept across half of China like a whirlwind, bringing his new album to a whole new level. Chapter 890. I'm back. Shirkai pushed open the door excitedly and shouted at his roommates who were sitting in the living room. One of his roommates, Min Wenlin, was playing a game. He said without turning his head, "Why are you back so late? Have you eaten dinner? There are leftovers in the kitchen. You can heat them up." Another roommate smiled. "Hurry up. We're waiting for you to do a dungeon together." "What dungeon?" Shirkai grinned. "I don't want to play Spellsword anymore. I'm going to change games." "What?" The 3 roommates were shocked. They all turned around to look at Shirkai. Min Wenlin even stood up to touch Shirkai's forehead. "You don't have a fever, do you?" Spellsword was an online game released by the famous game company Tempest last year. It was a fantasy RPG game. It won the love of many gamers due to its high quality. Shirkai was a fan of Spellsword. He started playing the game right after the server was released. He was considered a veteran player of Spellsword. His main account was level 72 and he belonged to the top army in the entire server. Most importantly, all 3 of his roommates had been playing Demon Sword under Shirkai's guidance. Now that Shirkai suddenly said that he wanted to play something else instead of Demon Sword, how could they not be surprised? Go go go. Shirkai dodged Min Wenlin's hand and said in disdain, "You're the one who's horny." He sat down on his computer chair and took out 4 game cards from the bag he just brought back. He smiled. "Let's play the Smiling, the Proud Wanderer." Shirkai was a technician at an internet company in Shan City. He had been working in Shan City for 3 years after graduating from university. To save on living expenses, he rented this apartment with a few of his colleagues in the company. They were around the same age and had a good relationship. What was rare was that they all liked to play games. They often played online games together, killing monsters and doing dungeons together. It was a rare leisure activity in life. Due to his high gaming skills, Shirkai naturally became the leader of the 4. The Smiling, the Proud Wanderer? Min Wenlin picked up one of the game cards on the computer table and asked hesitantly, "Is it fun?" He knew about the Smiling, the Proud Wanderer. It was quite popular a while ago, but there were many new games released. Moreover, he was playing Demon Sword, so he didn't pay much attention to it. Shirkai picked up his teacup and took a big gulp of tea. He said, "Our guild's vice president recommended it to me. He tried it out on the first day of the server's launch, and it was pretty good. The most important thing is that the fees are out now. It's very generous." One of his roommates was surprised. "It's for a fee?" Demon Sword was a free online game. Shirkai sneered and said, "It's good that there's a fee. Everything that's free is F***ing a scam. Take Demon Sword for example. Our level is already considered very high, right? Didn't you get hacked to death by a little R&B warrior yesterday?" The 3 roommates nodded in agreement. Like Shirkai, they were all from ordinary families. Although the cost of living in Mountain City was not particularly high, The expenses of clothing, food, and housing were not low, so they tried their best to save as much as possible. Back when they played Demon Sword with Shirkai, they also liked the game because it was free. However, when they first fell into the trap, the game was still fine. Now the developers were racking their brains to make money, and introduced all kinds of items that required fees. The most typical one was to smash weapons. A level 50 gold weapon to 9 stars would cost at least 5,000 yuan. If a few soul gems were embedded, it would be normal for it to cost tens of thousands. How could they afford that? However, if they didn't smash equipment, they wouldn't be able to PK with just their level. Those that did would be like last night, when Shirkai led everyone to kill a boss. They met a little warrior who was stealing the boss. They thought that they could easily defeat him with 4 against 1, but they were completely destroyed. The reason was simple. Although the opponent's level was low, he had a full set of 9-star gold soul equipment. He killed Min Wenlin, the thin-skinned mage, with 1 slash, and Shirkai, the main tank, couldn't even heal himself with potions. In the end, 2 of them died and the other 2 were sent flying. It was a great humiliation. But what could they do? It was their fault for not spending money. Shirkai said, "Anyway, I don't want to play these free games anymore." This Smiling, the Proud Wanderer, doesn't have any items that require fees. It's just selling some cards. 50 cents per hour or 50 yuan per month. 50 cents per hour or 50 yuan per month. It really wasn't expensive. The most important thing was that there were no items that required fees. This meant that it was fair to all players. There wouldn't be a situation where the 4 of them could only PK one low-level opponent. Shirkai patted the game cards on the table and said, "I bought 4 monthly cards. The new server will open at 8 tonight. Let's play the new server together." Min Wenlin asked, "Then what about our Demon Sword accounts?" Shirkai waved his hand. "Sell them all online, sell as many as you can." "Oh right." He thought of something and said excitedly, "The Smiling, the Proud Wanderer has an auction system. If we get good equipment, we can sell it in the auction house for silver or RMB." "That works?" The 3 roommates exclaimed. Normally, equipment trading in games was very troublesome. It was easy to get scammed when trading on your own. Using a third party to trade would have to deduct the transaction fees, and it would take a long time to get back the money. The Smiling, the Proud Wanderer actually supported cash auctions. That was really great for gamers like them. If they were lucky enough to get a top-tier equipment, they could sell it for hundreds or thousands. Wouldn't that be great? One of the roommates shouted. "Stop talking. Hurry up and download the app." "Yes, yes, yes." Everyone quickly closed Demon Sword and downloaded the app according to the website on the game card. Then they put their Demon Sword accounts up for sale on a third-party platform. Their equipment was all obtained by themselves, so it wasn't worth much. However, their account levels were not bad, so they could sell for at least 300 or 400 yuan. Even a mosquito was meat. In the end, Min Wenlin realized that a large number of Demon Sword accounts were on sale these few days. Many of them were top-tier accounts that were made with RMB. Accounts that were made with tens of thousands of yuan were sold for 2,000 or 3,000 yuan. It was a huge discount. Although they couldn't be sure that this was because of the Smiling, the Proud Wanderer, it was obvious that Demon Sword's market was plummeting. The 4 of them would probably have to go through a discount before they could sell their accounts. However, they didn't care anymore. Since they were determined to play the new game, it wasn't a pity to lose Demon Sword. They might as well sell their accounts at half the price and wait for the download to finish. At 8 at night, before the new server opened, the 4 of them successfully registered their accounts and logged into the Smiling, the Proud Wanderer. Chapter 891. The Smiling, the Proud Wanderer was Happy Entertainment's flagship project in 2018. The company invested a lot of manpower and resources into this Wuxia MMORPG, and even hired external help. It was finally released on New Year's Day 2019. On the 1st, there were 10 servers in total. In just half an hour, all 10 servers were full, and there were still a lot of players waiting in line. Although Happy Entertainment was prepared, they didn't expect it to be this popular. They added another 5 servers on the spot, but it still wasn't enough to satisfy the players' enthusiasm. On the 7th, the number of servers for the Smiling, the Proud Wanderer increased to 50, with more than 1 million daily active players. For a company that had only been established for 2 years, and it was their first big MMORPG, Happy Entertainment's success was dazzling. The key was that the game was well received in the market. In the week since the public beta, all sorts of reviews filled the forums and QQ groups, and the game's fan club was formed. On the 10th of January, Happy Entertainment officially released a top-up card. There were two ways to purchase it, online and offline. The number of top-up cards sold exceeded 30 million on that day, with more than 90% of the players buying the monthly card. On the 11th, the number increased to 100 million. If one player bought a monthly card, that would mean 2 million paying customers, and this was only the beginning. Such outstanding results indicated that the Proud Wanderer's success was unstoppable. As long as the company didn't do anything stupid, it wouldn't be a problem for it to be popular for 2 to 3 years. The success of the smiling Proud Wanderer also caused a great impact in the two circles. The first was obviously the online gaming circle. As a rising black horse, Happy Entertainment received a lot of attention due to the success of casual games like Happy Farm and Angry Birds. However, not many people had high hopes for the Proud Wanderer's IP MMORPG. This was because this market had already turned into a sea of blood. Large domestic and international video game companies were fighting fiercely for it. From computers to phones, it could be said that there was smoke everywhere. As a new company, Happy Entertainment had no problem playing casual games, but the production and operation of large-scale MMORPG was a different story. There were many ambitious new companies that entered this market, but they ended up with their heads broken and ended up in a miserable state. In the eyes of the big companies, Happy Entertainment wasn't qualified enough. They didn't have any background to speak of. They might be able to make some money from their IP, but it would only be a flash in the pan. The other thing was the theme. Currently, the mainstream online games on the market were mainly shooting games, real-time strategy games, and fantasy RPG games, which included most of the players. However, the Proud Wanderer was an unprecedented martial arts game. It was not easy to make a mountain monster. Also, Happy Entertainment didn't put enough effort into advertising. The media rarely saw advertisements for the Proud Wanderer. They were relying on the company's founder, Wuxia, to gain some popularity on his blog, making it seem rather low-key. How could people believe that the success of the Proud Wanderer was inevitable? Before the Proud Wanderer went into beta, there were many negative voices in the gaming circle. Many people doubted Happy Entertainment's ability, suspecting that it was another game that relied on IP to make money. However, the truth gave these doubting voices a powerful counterattack. The Proud Wanderer was a great success as soon as it was released. It not only attracted a large number of players, but also converted a large proportion of players into paying customers. This was a great achievement. Free games were popular on the market at the moment. They relied on selling items such as gold, gems, skins, and cards to make money. The Proud Wanderer's use of point-based payment was a step backwards. This was because online games in the past sold point-based payment cards. Later on, free games became popular, especially in the mobile game era. The most successful games could make billions in a month by selling items. The Proud Wanderer didn't take this path that was already proven to be profitable, but still wanted to make a lot of money. It was hard for people to understand why. As for the other circle, it was the entertainment circle. In the past, there were precedents of movies, TV shows, and novels being adapted into games. Especially popular online novels, it was common for them to be adapted into movies and TV shows before being released into games. However, these types of IP that were suitable for game adaptation were rarely successful when they were made into games. The Proud Wanderer series of successes were extremely dazzling. Some people estimated that according to the current trend, the Proud Wanderer could bring at least 5 billion in revenue to Happy Entertainment. With the success of the game, Happy Entertainment was qualified to be listed, and Wuxia owned 70% of Happy Entertainment's shares. This made people jealous. The scary thing was that the Proud Wanderer series of IP adaptations had only just begun. Chunfei Media also owned the rights to The Legend of the Condor Heroes. The Legend of the Condor Heroes was another Wuxia novel after the Proud Wanderer. Currently, the sales of the novel had surpassed the former. The value of the IP was immeasurable. In addition, Chunfei Media also announced that they owned the rights to the other 3 Wuxia novels: The Return of the Condor Heroes, Demigods and Semi-Devils, and The Deer and the Cauldron. At this point, Lu Chen's Wuxia IP plan has been presented in front of everyone. He holds a large number of shares in Chinfei Media, Star Factory Media and Happy Entertainment. His ambition to build his own entertainment dynasty with the help of a series of Wuxia IP can be said to be clear. Even if this empire was just starting to take shape, Lu Chen was already at the top of the entertainment circle, above all other celebrities. He was young and had unparalleled talent. His rise was unstoppable. Looking back at Lu Chen's journey to stardom, it had only been 4 years since his debut. How could people not be emotional? In comparison, the explosive sales of Lu Chen's third album, Lu Chen, was not as eye-catching. This was because no matter how many albums Lu Chen sold, it only proved that he was a successful singer. His career was no longer limited to pop music, but expanded to a wider world. Now, when people in the industry talked about Lu Chen other than envy, they could only say that he didn't get enough awards and didn't have any titles like King of Singers or Best Actor. However, in China, these small honors were just icing on the cake for top stars. Everyone believed that Lu Chen would get a great harvest in this year's Music and Film Awards, because no one could ignore his success and miracles. Chapter 892. On January 15th, Lu Chen ended the national promotion tour of his new album and returned to Beijing. In less than half a month, he traveled to 7 big cities in China and stayed in Hong Kong for 2 days. Finally, he flew back to Beijing from Taiwan, covering a total distance of thousands of kilometers. And in every city, Lu Chen has received a fanatical welcome from local fans, so that the number of people entering the Xinhua bookstore in the following cities has been limited and screened through computer numbering. Otherwise, the pressure of reception would be too great. Although it was very hard, the results were also very remarkable. Since the release of Lu Chen's new album on the 1st, the total sales had reached 6.5 million copies by the evening of the 14th. Although most of them were digital albums, such a result had broken the first week and second week sales records of the first 2 albums, and it was only a matter of time before it broke the total sales record. Not only in China, such a high sales volume was definitely among the best in the world, enough to be compared with several top singers in Britain and the United States. Therefore, there were many jealous comments in the circle that the album sales record set by Lu Chen could only be broken by himself, and there was no exception. In direct proportion to the sales of the album was the reputation of the fans. Lu Chen defended his unshakable position in the pop music world with his third album, and also erected a solid monument for the title of the most outstanding composer. Driven by this album, the originally somewhat quiet pop music world became active again. Many singers and record media companies were seeking China-style works, hoping to take advantage of this wave of popularity. But for Lu Chen, no matter how high the sales of the new album and how warm the market response was, it was insignificant. The most important thing was to return home to accompany Chen Feier. Opening the door with the key, Lu Chen put the suitcase against the wall and immediately smelled the aroma of food. Lu Chen couldn't help but be a little surprised, because there were very few meals at home. Occasionally, he would cook at home. With a trace of doubt, he put on his shoes and walked towards the kitchen. There were a few steaming plates of home-cooked dishes on the dining table outside. The dishes were very simple, mainly scrambled eggs, braised pork, vegetables, and a plate of fried peanuts. In the kitchen, a graceful beauty wearing an apron was making soup. She carefully picked up the lid of the casserole and scooped some soup with a spoon. Then she added some salt and covered the casserole again. Suddenly, a pair of hands reached out from behind her and hugged her waist. Chen Feier was so shocked that he almost dropped the spoon in his hand. Lu Chen held her in his arms and rested his chin on her shoulder. He greedily inhaled his lover's scent and asked with a smile, "Why do you want to cook yourself? You scared me to death." Chen Feier, who had come back to his senses, knocked him on the head with a spoon and said angrily, "What kind of surprise attack is this? It doesn't matter if you scare me, but what if you scare the baby? The baby hasn't even taken shape yet, right?" Lu Chen smiled bitterly. "Honey, I know I was wrong." Chen Feier snorted. "You heartless woman. I knew you were coming back today, so I specially cooked for you. I didn't expect you." Lu Chen hugged her tightly. "I was really wrong." Then, he leaned over and kissed Chen Feier's cheek to express his apology. Chen Feier giggled because of his stubble. She twisted her head to avoid it, but Lu Chen kissed her on the mouth. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. The two hugged and kissed in the kitchen, lingering tenderly. But considering the baby in Chanfei's belly, the two controlled themselves well, although they were burning with passion. Chanfei was in the early stage of pregnancy, when the placenta was forming and in an unstable state. The secretion of progesterone to prevent miscarriage was not sufficient, so miscarriage or threatened miscarriage was the most likely. It was their first baby, so they had to be careful. Have a taste of my cooking. Chanfei asked Luchan to sit down at the dining table. She scooped a bowl of soup and a bowl of rice for him and looked at him expectantly. Luchan didn't stand on ceremony. He picked up a scrambled egg with his chopsticks and drank 2 mouthfuls of soup. After swallowing it in 2 or 3 mouthfuls, he praised, "It's really good. It's so delicious." Chanfei rolled her eyes at Luchan and said, "You only know how to make me happy. I just started learning how to cook. How is it good? Your acting skills are not good either." "It's very good for a beginner." Luchan smiled and asked, "Why do you want to cook by yourself? Didn't you say you would find a nanny to take care of you? Didn't my sister find one for you?" Before he left the capital, he had discussed with Lu Shi to find an experienced nanny to take care of Chanfei. Chanfei said, "Sister Lu Shi told me, but I don't need anyone to take care of me for the time being. Let's talk about it later. It's boring to stay at home, so I learned to cook by myself." She picked up some vegetables for Luchan with her chopsticks and said, "Hurry up and eat. I've already eaten." Although Chanfei's cooking skills were not very good as a beginner, the scrambled eggs were a little burnt, the vegetables were overcooked, and the ginseng chicken soup was not tasty enough, Luchan still ate with relish and ate 3 bowls of rice in a row. After dinner, Luchan naturally took on the task of cleaning up the dishes. At this moment it was already dark. Through the glass window of the kitchen, they could see the lights of thousands of families outside. Although his body was still very tired, Luchan's spirit was completely relaxed. No matter how hard it was outside, home was always a warm harbor. Especially for stars like him and Chanfei, such a plain but warm daily life at home was extraordinarily rare. Tien. After putting all the dishes into the dishwasher and wiping the table, Luchan washed his hands and returned to the living room. Chanfei was sitting on the sofa watching TV. The large laser projection screen was playing the scene of Luchan signing in the North City of Bao Island yesterday. "A lonely lamp stands at the window. I pretend that you haven't left yet behind the door. The old place is like revisiting. The round moon is more lonely. The candle awake in the middle of the night can't bear to criticize me. A pot of wine drifting to the ends of the world is difficult to drink. After you left, the wine warms the memories, the yearning thinned." On the screen, Luchan was singing East Wind Break from the album. This work with a strong China style was widely praised. Together with blue and white porcelain, it was regarded as a representative work of China style. Currently it was a complete mess. Luchan sang 3 songs at the signing in the North City of Bao Island. East Wind Break was the finale. He walked over to the sofa and sat down, gently pulling Chanfei into his arms. The two were silent, but it was incomparably warm and sweet. And the song continued. Who is playing East Wind Break with the pipa, time peeling off the wall. I see when I was young, still remember that we were still very young, and now the faint sound of the zither. I'm waiting for you. Note: East Wind Break lyricist, Fong Wanshan/composer, Zhou Jieluan. Chapter 893. Beijing New Era Art Park, Chanfei Media Headquarters. Good morning, President Liu. Good morning, President Chan. Good morning, boss. Good morning, madam. When Luchan and Chanfei appeared together in the company, the employees' reaction was extremely enthusiastic, especially those who had just joined the company. Their eyes were shining. After nearly 2 years of development, Chanfei Media had become a well-known company in the industry. Although it had not yet achieved the scale of a crocodile, the speed of its rise was so fast that it had left all of its competitors far behind, and its revenue had reached new highs. In contrast, due to the rapid development of various businesses, the number of employees continues to increase. At present, the office building is overwhelmed. The company is negotiating with the Park Management Committee to rent a 7-story building nearby to meet the needs of the company's expansion. In the future, Chanfei Media will be divided into many subsidiaries such as music, film and television, digital special effects, performing arts training, etc. In the company's VIP reception room, Lu Chan met several guests who came to visit Chunfei Media headquarters today. They were all from Beijing Television, including Chan Qi, who had a good relationship with Lu Chan. Chan Qi met Lu Chan when he first made his debut. The former also gave a lot of help to Lu Chan. After Lu Chan became famous, he had a good relationship with the director of Beijing Television, which also depended on this deputy director. But now Chan Qi has been promoted. He replaced the original director at the end of last year and became the new director of Beijing Television. Today is also the first time he came to Chunfei Media as the new director. From deputy director to director, although it is only a step up, in fact the status of the two is very different. With Chan Qi's current level, it is condescending to come to the headquarters of Chunfei Media to see Lu Chan. But Chan Qi did not put on the airs of a director. In front of Lu Chan, Chunf and Lu Shi, he still smiled kindly. When he saw Lu Chan, he joked, "Superstar, you are finally back. I have been waiting for you in Beijing." Chan Qi made an appointment with Lu Chan as early as half a month ago, but Lu Chan just started the national signing of his new album, so the meeting time was set for today. Lu Chan sweated. "Director Chan, you put a lot of pressure on me." Chan Qi laughed. "You are under a lot of pressure, but I am under even more pressure. Tell me the truth, is Star Factory planning to cooperate with Shonan TV on a new program?" Lu Chan said helplessly. "Director Chan, although I have shares in Star Factory, I don't manage it." He didn't expect Chan Qi to come over to talk to him about this. Obviously, the cooperation negotiations between Star Factory and Xiangnan Satellite TV were leaked and known by this side. When Lu Chan went to Hangzhou to participate in Zhidong Satellite TV's New Year's Eve concert more than half a month ago, Tian looked for him to discuss the new variety show project. At that time they also talked about Shonan TV. Lu Chan threw a new program plan to her, and then he didn't manage it anymore. Because Tian, who was in charge of Star Factory, had long been able to take charge of things on her own, and he didn't need to work hard. The most important thing was that, although Tian had a large number of shares in Star Factory Media, neither Lu Chan nor Chen Feier interfered with the company's operation and allowed Tian to play her talents. Therefore, whether Tian cooperated with Zhidong Satellite TV or Shonan TV, Lu Chan would give his support. But now that Chan Qi personally came to ask, he was a little embarrassed and could only explain tactfully. Chan Qi was dissatisfied. "You are getting more and more unkind. Last time you couldn't come to the New Year's Eve concert, and now you are going to cooperate with Shonan TV. Don't say that you don't care, you must have come up with the plan for the new project, right?" Lu Chan was speechless. In fact, the program plan that Lu Chan threw to Tian was still in a strictly confidential stage. It would only be officially released after the creative copyright registration was completed, and it would only be limited to a small part of the content. But in the cooperation negotiation with Shonan TV, she didn't need to come up with a specific plan. They recognized the famous brand of Lu Chan, and their sincerity for cooperation was very sufficient. Beijing Television had only heard the rumors, and of course it was impossible to know more. But Chen Qi knew Lu Chan too well, and he was very clear about the inside story behind the Star Factory's glory, so he instinctively made an accurate judgment. Lu Chen's Midas touch name was known to everyone in the circle. As the director of Beijing Television, how could Chan Qi tolerate a variety show that might be a hit in the ratings to be poached away by Shonan TV? It should be known that for Beijing Television, Shonan TV was its biggest competitor. Chan Qi continued to say, "Am I right? I know that little girl doesn't have that kind of ability. She still listens to you, so why not talk to our Beijing Television?" The director of a satellite TV station was acting like a rogue. Lu Chan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He said with a wry smile, "Director Chan, I really don't care about the Star Factory. If you want to cooperate, you can talk to Tian directly. I think she will definitely give you face." "Do you think I didn't look for her?" Chan Qi said bitterly. "That girl is so clever. She used my side to bargain with Shonan TV. Unless the negotiation broke down, it would not have been my turn." Chen Feier couldn't help but laugh when he heard this. "You're still laughing," Chan Qi said bitterly. "Don't forget how Shonan TV treated your husband." Chen Feier pursed his lips and smiled. "Director Chan, I won't talk. I'll just watch. Chan Chi pointed to the big star of his family speechlessly, with an expression of exasperation. Lu Shi couldn't stand it anymore and said, Director Chan, it's useless for you to argue with Lu Chan. He really doesn't care about the Star Factory, but we still have a lot of cooperation with Beijing Television. Chen Qi was actually waiting for this sentence. He immediately smiled and said, well, Lu Chen's first concert at the Olympic Sports Center must be recorded on TV. In addition, if the Star Factory and Shonan TV break down, they must give priority to us. In the future, they must also give priority to us to discuss new projects. He said several things in one breath. Obviously, he had already prepared for it. He was just advancing in order to retreat. Lu Chen's first solo concert would be held at the Beijing Olympic Sports Center on February 14th. As the first stop of his national concert tour, this concert attracted countless attention and could be called a major event in the domestic pop music world this year. In order to ensure the income from tickets, solo concerts were usually not broadcast live on TV or even recorded, and most online versions were sold. Under normal circumstances, TV stations would not record a star's concert. At most they would do a news interview. However, Lu Chen's influence was too great, so Beijing Television hoped to record this concert. In addition to being used for program broadcasting, it would also be used as an important material for Lu Chen's personal documentary. Chen Qi had to swallow this delicious piece of cake. Chapter 894. Beijing Hohai. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the Forget Grass Bar, which was located on the pedestrian street, had just hung up the open sign when a guest wearing a windbreaker and sunglasses pushed open the door and walked in. There were many bars in Hohai, and their main business hours were from evening to midnight. Some bars opened earlier, opening at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but there weren't many guests in those bars. Most of the waiters hadn't come to work yet, and the performance stage was empty. There was only a set of drums placed in the corner, and a few lights were turned on inside, but the light wasn't very bright. When the first guest of the day came in, Chan Jianhao was wiping the bar with a rag. In the past, he never did this kind of thing because it was a waiter's job, but since he got married and had a child, he suddenly liked the work of washing and wiping. When the bar opened for business, he wiped the counter clean, which gave him a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. Most importantly, Chan Jinhao's wife was in the bar, accompanying him to tidy up the wine cabinet. There was a silent tacit understanding between them, which was the warmth and sweetness that belonged to the two of them. The guest in the windbreaker sat down in front of the bar and said, "Lady boss, give me a glass of beer." The lady boss had just stuffed a bottle of champagne back into the cabinet. She didn't raise her head and said, "You're really early. This is the first guest of the day, this glass is on me." The guest smiled and said, "Oh, how can I accept this?" The lady boss suddenly felt that something was wrong. She suddenly raised her head and saw the guest take off his sunglasses, revealing a very familiar face. "Ah!" She suddenly let out a scream and rushed out of the bar with lightning speed. She opened her arms and gave the other party a strong hug. Xiao Lu, Chun Jianhao, who was wiping the table at the bar, was shocked by his wife's scream. But when he saw the face of the guest, he couldn't help but smile. Lu Chan smiled and patted Sister Na's back and said, "My godson's mother, you've lost weight." The son of Chan Jianhao and Sister Na recognized Lu Chan as his godfather. However, this godfather was usually too busy. He only saw his son a few times and gave him a lot of gifts. Sister Na laughed and let go of Lu Chan. She punched him on the shoulder and asked, "How come you have time to come over today? Could it be that you miss my son? Did you bring any gifts?" Lu Chan sweated. "I'll make it up next time." Speaking of which, he hadn't been to Forget Grass Bar for a long time, mainly because he was too busy with work, but this didn't affect his friendship with Chan Jinhao and Sister Na. Some friends, even if they hadn't seen each other for years, would still remain the same. Although Lu Chan was now standing at the peak of his life, he had never felt that he was high above others. Don't forget your original intention. This bar carried a lot of Lu Chen's memories, and it was also where his original intention was. Chen Jinhao poured a glass of beer for Lu Chan. Lu Chan wasn't polite. He picked up the glass and took a big gulp. Then he took out 2 concert tickets from his windbreaker pocket and put them on the bar counter. "I have a concert next month. You guys must come." I knew it. Chan Jianhao picked up the tickets and glanced at them. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. I didn't expect it to be so late. Yes. Sister Na grabbed the tickets as if she had found a treasure. Love for a lifetime? Not a bad name. Lu Chun was ashamed. In fact, based on his debut experience after his first album, You Who Sat Next to Me came out, he was qualified to hold a solo concert. As a result, it was dragged on for 3 years. In the circle, many singers don't have any big popular works, and they also make their solo concerts spectacular, losing money and earning money to get a beautiful record. In contrast, Lu Chen's first solo concert really came too late. It was no problem for him to sing several times a year, and it couldn't exhaust the enthusiasm of his fans. And tonight, the ticket booking for Lu Chen's solo concert, which will be held at the Beijing Olympic Sports Center on Valentine's Day on February 14th, will be opened at Chenfei Media and QQ Music. The tickets had been printed 2 days ago. In addition to the pre-sale portion, there was also a portion that was reserved for people to give away. This was because many people had asked for the tickets a long time ago, including Tan Hong, Lu Gangshang, Shifang, and other good friends in the circle. Of course, Lu Chan didn't forget Chan Jianhao and his wife. He specially delivered the tickets to their door. Chan Jianhao and Sister Na looked at each other and smiled. They were very moved in their hearts. Although the two don't mix in the circle, they have seen a lot of things in the circle. People like Lu Chan who are affectionate and righteous and from beginning to end are really rare. Squeak at this time, the door of the bar was pushed open again, and a young man came in with a guitar case. Boss lady boss. He greeted politely but not very skilled, and there was a trace of immaturity in his appearance and voice. Sister Na smiled and said, Xiao Gao, you're here. The young man nodded and suddenly his eyes focused. He saw Lu Chan sitting in front of the bar. Although Lu Chan was sideways, the young man named Xiao Gao still recognized Lu Chan at a glance. Lu Chan is his idol. He came to work in Forget Grass Bar because Lu Chan made his debut in this bar. In fact, in today's bars in Hohai, Forget Grass Bar has become a sacred place for folk singers. Many singers have sung here, and it is not easy to become a resident singer of Forget Grass Bar. Chan Jianhao waved to him. Come here, let me introduce you. Xiao Gao suddenly woke up. He trotted over without thinking, stood in front of Lu Chan, and was so excited that his face turned red. Lu. Teacher Lu, hello? Lu Chan smiled and said, Hello. Chan Jianhao said, He's the new resident singer Gao Yong. He plays the guitar well, but his singing skills are so-so. He's written a few songs so he's got some talent. Can you give me some advice? Lu Chan said. Okay. He knows that if Chan Jianhao didn't cherish talent, he wouldn't have recommended him, and he didn't need his help. A few words of advice may make this young singer's life completely different. Gao Yong suddenly felt like he was hit by a pie falling from the sky, and he was about to faint. It was Sister Na who reminded him to sing on stage. While Gao Yong was adjusting the guitar, Sister Na said to Lu Chan, He is a bit like you. Lu Chan smiled and didn't say anything. Even if Sister Na didn't say it, he could see some of his own shadow in Gao Yong. It's just that time has inadvertently gone far away. Chapter 895. Boss. Gao Yong hugged his guitar and looked at Chan Jianhao with uneasy eyes. He had just sung 2 songs. One was his favorite, Lu Chen's, You Who Sat Next to Me, and the other was his own most proud work. Normally, Gao Yong would be full of confidence when singing this work, and he would be able to win the favor of the audience. However, when he performed in front of Lu Chan, he did not have the slightest confidence, and his worries even affected his performance. To be honest, Gao Yong wanted to slap himself. He did not know how many times he had dreamed of today's scene, but when his dream came true, his performance was terrible. Lu Chan did not give a direct evaluation. He just whispered a few words to Chan Jianhao and Sister Na, nodded at him and left. This made Gao Yong very depressed. He realized that he might have missed a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. To be able to become a resident singer of Forget Grass Bar is not an easy thing. In this circle, it is unknown how many unknown singers wanted to occupy a position here, but were unable to do so. There are also many small famous or even well-known singers who took the initiative to come here to sing for free. In Forget Grass Bar, there are the best singers and bands in Hohai, the most picky and enthusiastic fans, customers, and many talent scouts from entertainment media and record companies, as well as all kinds of entertainment reporters, music critics, and so on. They all came here because of one person, and that is Lu Chan. Nowadays, in the entire pop music world, there is no one who does not know of Lu Chan's experience of making his debut and becoming famous. The beginning of his journey to the top was in this bar, where he used the song You Who Sat Next to Me to open the road of incomparable stardom. And Lu Chan is not only friends with the bar's owner and lady boss, but also has shares in Forget Grass Bar. Although the proportion is very small, it is precisely this deep relationship that makes countless Beijing drifting singers who are eager to become famous flock like ducks. Some of them want to repeat the path of Lu Chan, some out of worship for Lu Chan, and some hope to be able to get a chance to prove themselves, but opportunities were few and far between. There was a popular joke in Hohai's circle that it was more difficult to enter the Forget Grass Bar to work as a resident singer than to enter Beijing Conservatory or Zhongyin. Not only was Gao Yong extremely lucky to get this opportunity, but he was also able to play and sing his own work in front of Lu Chan. It was an extremely glorious thing to say, and he might even be favored by an entertainment agency because of it. However, things seem to have been messed up by him. Don't think too much. Chen Jinhao patted him on the shoulder with a smile and said, "You're just too nervous. However, Lu Chen's evaluation of you is not bad, but don't expect too much. What you need most now is to settle down and accumulate." Chen Jinhao quite liked Gao Yong. He could see traces of Lu Chan in the latter. They were both young, talented, and untainted by the things in the industry. However, the current Gao Yong was still too immature. Gao Yong was somewhat at a loss. Chen Jinhao's words made him feel happy, but also a little disappointed. Sister Na said softly, "Little Gao, what Jianhao means is that you don't be impatient. Don't worry about missing the opportunity, study hard, and polish your work seriously. Gold will always shine." Gao Yong finally understood and nodded hard. "I will work hard." He was no longer confused, and regained his courage and confidence. Sister Na and Chen Jinhao saw this and couldn't help but smile at each other. The latter took out a concert ticket and handed it to him. "This is a gift from Lu Chan. Work hard." Gao Yong took the ticket, and his heart was about to fly. He had long wanted to buy a ticket to Lu Chen's concert, and even deliberately saved a sum of money. He was worried that he wouldn't be able to buy a ticket. He didn't expect that Lu Chen would directly give him one, and it was a VIP ticket priced at 2,888 yuan. The anonymous VIP ticket has laser digital anti-counterfeiting, but there is no identity verification. Although it is not in the best position, it can be transferred to others. Gao Yong knew very well the preciousness of this ticket. If he wanted to sell it, it was estimated that he could sell it for several times the price, which was worth the money he worked hard to earn in a month or two. But Gao Yong didn't have such an idea at all. He held the ticket tightly, as if holding his future. At 7:30 p.m. on January 18th, the tickets for the first concert of Lu Chen's Zhong Ai Yisheng, Beijing Olympic Sports Center were sold simultaneously on the official website of Chunfei Media and the official website of QQ Music, with a total of 75,000 tickets. The Olympic Sports Center is one of the largest stadiums in Beijing, and is often used to hold large-scale performance activities. It is the dream of countless singers to hold a solo concert in this circular stadium. However, the venue of the Olympic Sports Center is not so easy to apply for. There are many singers who apply every year, but only a few can really pass it. Chunfei Media also applied for Lu Chen a few months ago, and it was finally approved. The Olympic Sports Center can accommodate more than 100,000 spectators in total, but if it is arranged as a concert, the number of spectators will be reduced by about 10,000 to 20,000, and the total number of tickets for Lu Chen's solo concert is about 83,000. Of course, these tickets can't all be released at once, because many of them are complimentary tickets, some are prizes for fan lottery, and a small number are reserved for mobile use. As a result, the 75,000 tickets that were put on the two websites on time at 7:30 were snapped up in just 10 seconds, and QQ Music only took 4 or 5 seconds to announce that they were sold out. This is very shocking. It should be known that among the 75,000 tickets, there are the cheapest ordinary seat tickets of 388 yuan, and there are super VIP tickets of 18,888 yuan. But no matter what kind of tickets, they were all sold out in a very short time. In fact, such a situation is not surprising, because the rules and time of ticket sales were announced a week ago. Countless fans have registered accounts and registered their ID cards in advance, just for tonight's rush. Many fans are not from Beijing or around Beijing at all, and they are still fighting online. If it weren't for the fact that Chunfei Media's official website has recently been expanded and renovated, it is estimated that the server will be down. Even so, there are still a large number of fans who failed to get tickets and have run to blogs to complain. It's gone in 1 second, so depressing. I was stuck when I clicked on the payment button. As a result, it's gone after a refresh. I'm vomiting blood. Whoever is kind enough to let me have a ticket, I'm willing to pay double the price. It's bound to your ID card. You can't get in if you don't match the ID card. It's too expensive. Are all the people who got the tickets cheating? I didn't get one either. In the comment area of Chunfei Media and Lu Chen's blog, there are full of complaints and dissatisfaction. Chapter 896. In recent years, the entertainment market has been flourishing. Every year there are dozens or even hundreds of solo concerts of stars in China, held in different cities, and there are even more commercial performances. Opening a concert is a symbol of a singer's strength, which has a considerable impact on his status in the circle. Therefore, some second- and third-tier singers have to open a concert even if they are not popular enough, and even hold it in a large venue. There are really a lot of singers who pretend to be powerful. Although it is difficult for them to sell too many tickets, the ticket price is still not ambiguous, so there often appears the situation of scalpers selling tickets at a 50% or 30% discount before the concert begins. And for stars with real appeal, concert tickets are not worried about sales. In order to increase profits, some agencies hoard their own tickets to artificially increase the popularity, and then use scalpers to increase the price and sell them. Lu Chen and Chunfei Media didn't do such a tasteless thing. So they put 75,000 tickets on their official website and QQ platform at one time, but they didn't expect them to be snapped up in seconds. According to the data from QQ Music at 7:30, the number of hits on the ticket purchase page exceeded 1 million, and the number of netizens who snapped up tickets exceeded 300,000, while QQ Music only had 40,000 tickets to sell. A large number of fans were very unhappy that they couldn't get tickets, so they blew up the blogs of Lu Chen and Chunfei Media. This made people speechless. In fact, Chunfei Media still underestimated the enthusiasm of fans and the long-suppressed demand. After all, Lu Chen's concert came a little late 4 years later. After emergency consultations, Lu Chen and Chunfei Media teamed up to hold a lucky draw on their blog and used 1,000 free tickets to appease these disappointed fans. Although compared with those fans who couldn't buy tickets, 1,000 tickets was really pitiful, but it also reflected Lu Chen's sincerity. There were only so many tickets, and it was impossible to increase the number of seats in the Olympic Sports Center. As a result, this temporary ticket lottery made the visit data of Wave's blog skyrocket. The number of reposts of Lu Chen and Chunfei Media's lottery blog exceeded 1 million in just 1 hour, setting a new record. After all, the lucky ones were in the minority, but fans who couldn't get tickets and lottery tickets had other choices. Because after Beijing, Lu Chen will tour several big cities such as Haijin, Huhai, Hangzhou, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Shancheng, Shacheng and Shacheng, and tickets for different shows will be released in turn. With the tickets sold out, Lu Chen's first concert at the Olympic Sports Center also entered the countdown stage. Look, Teacher Lu, this is our site layout, mainly the stage location. This is the distribution map of the sound system. We have chosen Germany's PVM, which has 28 sound units, including 16 tweeters, 8 mids and 4 bass units. It has a built-in multi-channel power amplifier module and DSP digital processing channel. It can achieve precise coverage of specific areas and prevent sound from overflowing into areas that do not need coverage. There are also giant LED live broadcast screens, a total of 4. In the conference room of Chunfei Media's headquarters in Beijing's New Era Art Park, pictures flashed on the projection screen. A middle-aged man held a laser pointer and introduced to Lu Chen, Chunfei, and Lu Shi with slight excitement. This middle-aged man was the largest cultural performance contractor in Beijing. Its scale and strength were among the top in China. Since its establishment, it had successfully held thousands of big and small performances, including the concerts of many stars. Lu Chen's A Lifetime of Love National Tour concert, the project application, venue rental, sound and dance, security, logistics, etc., were also outsourced to this company. Although Chunfei Media could handle many of the tasks themselves, it would cost a lot of manpower and material resources and a lot of time. Outsourcing to a professional company was the most suitable choice. For example, if Chunfei Media bought the sound system at the concert site, it would cost at least tens of millions, and they would have to hire professionals to install, maintain it. Now, as long as they paid a rental fee, they did not have to think about it anymore. Although the rental fee was not cheap, it was still very cost-effective compared to buying it themselves. In another week, the Olympic sports would enter the actual venue layout, rehearsals, and so on. Today was the final review of the venue layout plan by Chunfei Media. Therefore, the main staff of Chunfei Media came. Everyone made up for the shortcomings and worked together to improve the plan. Originally, Lu Chan did not want Chunfei to come, but the latter insisted. According to Chunfei, she was not so delicate. She was just pregnant, and she had held many solo concerts. She had more experience in this area than anyone else. Although this was Lu Chen's concert for her, it was more important than her own. As for the middle-aged man in charge of the presentation, he was the deputy general manager and engineer of the performance company. Just as he was talking enthusiastically, the door of the conference room was suddenly pushed open. An employee of Chunfei Media came in. She walked quickly to Lu Shi's side and leaned over to whisper a few words in Lu Shi's ear. Lu Shi's face changed. She got up and said, "Manager Wang, thank you for your explanation. Can you change the content to tomorrow?" The middle-aged man was not a fool. He quickly replied, "No problem. We will make an appointment tomorrow." Lu Shi smiled and said, "Thank you." After sending away the people of the performance company, Lu Shi came back and said to Lu Chan and Chunfei, "Something happened." Lu Chan held Chunfei's hand and asked in a deep voice, "What happened?" No matter what happened, first of all, he couldn't let the pregnant Chunfei worry about him. "It's not a big deal." Lu Shi frowned and said, "There's a little girl." Lu Chan listened quietly to Lu Shi's words, then asked, "Is she okay now?" "She should be fine," Lu Shi said. "I have to find out more about the specific situation." Lu Chan thought for a moment and said, "Which hospital is she in? I'll go there now." Lu Shi was surprised. "You're going there now?" Lu Chan nodded. "I should go and have a look. If this matter is known by the media, it will be troublesome. We should try to control it as much as possible." Chunfei supported him. "Yes, I'll go with you," Lu Shi said helplessly. "That's the only way. Sai, how could this happen? Children nowadays." Lu Chan smiled and said, "Look on the bright side. At least nothing serious happened, and we got the news in advance. We were lucky to avoid being passive." Lu Shi shook her head. "Forget it. I'll get someone to prepare a car. I'll go and have a look too." Chapter 897. On the way to the hospital, Lu Chan, Chunfei, and Lu Shi spent more than an hour gambling in the car. However, during this time Lu Shi understood the cause and effect of the matter clearly through the relevant people. This matter was not big or small, but it fell on Lu Chen's head. It felt like he was shot while lying down. Although it was very depressed, he couldn't be indifferent. The cause of the incident was Lu Chen's first concert in Beijing next month. The key point was the tickets. A fan of Lu Chan, a teenage girl, was still a high school student. She couldn't get a ticket on the internet. In short, she was very sad. The tickets for this concert were too scarce. There were many people who didn't get them. She was just one of them. It wasn't a big deal. Then Lu Chan and the official V of Chunfei Media organized a ticket lottery. She participated in it, but she didn't have much luck and was disappointed again. As a result, it was a classmate who had a conflict with her, who was lucky enough to get a ticket and proudly showed off to her. There was no lack of sarcasm and ridicule. The little girl loved face and was psychologically fragile. She couldn't think it through and cut her wrist. Fortunately, it was found by her family and sent to the hospital in time, so there was no tragedy. For such a case, the hospital arranged for a psychiatrist to provide counseling. Coincidentally, the younger brother of the psychiatrist worked in Chunfei Media. So they got the news as soon as possible. What the hell was going on? To be honest, after understanding the ins and outs of the matter, whether it was Lu Chan, Chunfei or Lu Shi, They were very speechless and didn't know what to say. They could only immediately rush to the hospital to see this irrational fan. Lucy originally didn't want Lu Chan and Chan Fei to go there. She was afraid that it would have a bad influence. If the media knew about it, it would be very troublesome. The most troublesome thing was that if there were fans who followed suit, it would be terrible. It sounded a little unbelievable, but such a strange thing had happened. Who could guarantee that there would not be others who followed suit? Some fans were difficult to reason with. Lu Chen's fan circle was too big. It was normal for there to be a few weirdos. We can't blame her even if she goes, Chan Fei said with great experience. Teenage girls are in their rebellious phase. What they can't take the most is a lesson. Just guide them appropriately. Lu Chan and Lu Shi nodded. After all, the responsibility of educating children depended on their parents, family, and school. As the idol of their fans, it was most important for them to establish a healthy and sunny image. While they were talking, they arrived at the Third People's Hospital of Beijing. The group got out of the car in the parking lot. The psychologist in charge was already waiting there. The doctor's surname was Su. She was in her 30s and had a beautiful appearance. She was quite surprised to see the two big stars, Lu Chan and Chan Fei. She didn't expect that her phone call would summon the most famous couple in the entertainment circle. As a doctor, especially a psychiatrist, we shouldn't divulge any patient's information. Dr. Su took Lu Chan and the others to the hospital's special elevator. As they walked, she said to Lu Chan, "But this girl's situation is a little special. She had a big fight with her parents, and now her mood is very unstable. So it's really great that you could come. Thank you." Her original intention was to buy a concert ticket through her brother. She wanted to solve the girl's depression first. After that, the effect of psychological counseling would be much better. However, Lu Chan came directly and even brought Chan Fei with him, which made her feel very embarrassed. Lu Chan said, "We should say thank you to you about this." He smiled bitterly. "I don't know what to say." Dr. Su couldn't help but laugh. "I understand very well. I look forward to a happy ending." Under her guidance, the three of them took the elevator to a single ward on the 12th floor of the inpatient department of the hospital. When they entered the ward, a delicate and pretty girl was lying on the bed with an intravenous drip. Her face was pale and she looked like she had nothing left to live for. Next to the bed sat a haggard middle-aged woman who was wiping away her tears. Hearing the door open, the two of them turned their heads at the same time. Dr. Su smiled at the girl and said, "Xiaoya, do you feel better? Someone is here to see you." Lu Chan took 2 steps forward, took off his sunglasses and smiled at her. "Xiaoya, hello." "Ah." The girl named Xiaoya suddenly opened her eyes wide. Her face instantly turned red. She screamed and shrank into the bed, even covering her head with the blanket. Everyone was shocked by her reaction and could not help but look at each other. Dr. Su was indeed a psychologist. She probably understood the girl's feelings at the moment. She leaned over and gently held the girl's hand and said, "Lu Chan is here to see you. I know you are blaming yourself, but you don't want to let everyone down, right?" At this time, the middle-aged woman also recognized Lu Chan and Chan Fei. She was at a loss. She stood up and said, "I'm really sorry. I didn't expect my child." Lu Shi quickly said, "It's okay. We are all very concerned about Xiaoya, so we came to disturb you." The middle-aged woman said repeatedly, "It's okay, it's okay. Thank you." As she spoke, her tears fell. Lu Shi held her hand and said, "You're welcome. This is what we should do." Xiaoya finally poked her head out from under the blanket. She bit her lip and said, "Brother Lu Chan, I'm sorry. You didn't do me wrong." Lu Chan sat down on the edge of the bed and said softly, "You're sorry to your mother who cares about you and loves you the most. Promise me don't do such a stupid thing again, okay?" Xiaoya nodded obediently. "I know I'm wrong. I won't do it again." "That's good." Lu Chan smiled happily and said, "I'll give you a gift." As he spoke, he took out the tickets he had prepared from his pocket and put them on the bedside table. "Welcome to my concert next month." Xiaoya's tears rolled down her cheeks. She knew what a stupid thing she had done. Lu Chan said, "Then this matter will be a secret between us. No one will tell anyone, okay?" Xiaoya nodded hard. Lu Chan was still worried. "Let's pinky swear." Xiaoya smiled through her tears. I'm not a child. Although she said that, she still quickly took out her left hand and pinky swear with Lu Chan. The atmosphere in the ward became relaxed. Even Xiao Ye's mother showed a smile. Lu Chan didn't stay in the ward for too long. After satisfying this little fan's request for an autograph, he left with Chan Fer and Lu Shi. Xiao Ye's mother sent them all the way to the parking lot. On the way back to the company, Chan Fer said to Lu Chan, "When the child is born in the future, I want to educate him myself." Lu Chan couldn't help laughing. Chapter 898. Beijing Willow Alley. A very ordinary name, even a bit vulgar and rustic, but this is one of the most essential locations in the supermetropolis of Beijing. You can reach the center of the city in 10 minutes after going out for a walk. The long alley is very clean, and the thick blue stone slabs laid on the ground are full of traces of time. On both sides are Sihiyuan with white walls and black tiles, each with its own story. It was Lu Chen's first time to come here. He and Chan Feier came to visit the Li family's old house as guests. The one who invited him was the old man of the Li family, Li Mubai and Li Mushi's grandfather. Lu Chan and Li Mubai are very good friends. Not only do they have a good personal friendship with Li Mushi, but they also have a deep interest alliance. The leading figure of the younger generation of the Li family, the two's eldest brother, Li Murong, also appreciates Lu Chan quite a lot. It is precisely because of the friendship with the younger generation of the Li family that Lu Chan and Chan Fei media have been developing smoothly in recent years. Although they have occasionally encountered some trouble, it has not affected anything. It can be said that the Li family is a big tree behind Lu Chan, sheltering him from a lot of wind, frost, rain and snow. However, this is the first time that Lu Chan has been summoned by the Li family's old man. Others say that living in Sihiyuan is comfortable. Li Mubai, who accompanied Lu Chan to the old house, said I feel very uncomfortable living here. I'm scolded by the old man every day. I reckon that I'll be scolded again when I come back this time." Lu Chan smiled. He still has a good understanding of the Li family's situation. He knows that the Li family's old man retired many years ago, but his influence is still great. Now the real master of the Li family is Li Mubai's father, and his successor is Li Murong. Li Murong is developing in politics, and Li Mushi is mixing in the business circle. The two are playing very well in their respective fields. As for Li Mubai, he is a standard playful playboy. But to be friends with him is the simplest and easiest. While talking, they arrived at the Li family's old house. Knocking on the heavy door and entering the mansion with more than 100 years of history, Lu Chan and Chan Fei met the Li family's old man and the Li family's grandmother in the front yard. Here, the lively Li Mubai immediately became a good grandson. "Grandpa, Grandma." The old man is in his 70s or 80s, and his hair is basically all white, but his face is ruddy and his appearance is dignified. He looks very energetic. He sat upright on the armchair and replied with an indifferent His eyes were filled with dignity. On the other hand, Grandma Li was very kind and amiable. She smiled and said, "Little White, where have you been playing recently? Why didn't you come to visit your grandparents? Look at your grandfather, he's angry." Li Mubai shrunk his head and said, Grandpa, Grandma, this is my friend Lu Chan." Li Chan. He has Li. Lu Chan hurriedly stepped forward and saluted politely. "Hello, Grandpa Li, Grandma Li." Li family's old man finally showed a smile and nodded. Lu Chan also introduced Chan Feier to the two elders. "This is my wife, Chan Feier." Chan Feier was much more direct than Lu Chan. "Hello, Grandpa, Grandma. I wish you a long life." Li family's grandmother's eyes lit up. "What a handsome child. Come, let Grandma take a closer look." Chan Feier stepped forward obediently, let Li family's grandmother hold his hand, and sat down beside her. Li family's grandmother smiled and said to Lu Chan, "You are so lucky to have such a beautiful wife. You must know how to cherish it. Spend more time with your wife when you have time. Don't neglect your family because you work and make money." The old woman's words were very reasonable, and Lu Chan accepted it modestly. The more Li family's grandmother looked at Chan Feier, the more she liked her. She took off a jade bracelet worn on her wrist and stuffed it into Chan Feier's hand. She said, "This is the first time we meet, and I don't have any good gifts. This bracelet is an old object, and it's worth some money. Take it. Chun Fei was taken aback. She knew how precious this emerald bracelet was. Grandma, it's too expensive. Li family's grandmother was unhappy. It's just a plaything. It's not expensive. If you really want to talk about expensive, isn't the thing you asked Xiaoshu to send valuable? Li Mushi contacted Old Man Li to make an appointment with Lu Chan. In order to show respect to Old Man Li, Lu Chan asked Li Mushi to provide a suggestion and bought a June Kiln official porcelain from the Song dynasty as a gift, which cost more than 10 million yuan. This June Kiln porcelain was sent to the old house in advance by Li Mushi. Lu Chan and Chun Fei also came to visit. The gift was accepted, but the old man obviously didn't want to take advantage of them. So Li family's grandmother gave a bracelet to Chun Fei. But more importantly, she really liked Chun Fei. Thank you, Grandma. Since the words had been spoken, Chun Fei had to accept it and put it on his wrist on the spot. Li family's grandmother was very happy. Yes, this bracelet is very suitable for you. It's very beautiful. Here the old man motioned for Lu Chan to sit down and said to him, "This time I asked you to come here for no other reason. I just heard Mushi talking about you all day, so I wanted to meet you, young man." Lu Chan listened respectfully. The old man continued, "I know a little about what you and Mushi have done in the past few years. I don't know anything about music and movies. The online crowdfunding you guys are doing is not bad. It's also a skill to be listed in the United States and earn money from Americans. Recently, the bike sharing that Mushi is doing is very good. I heard that it is also from your plan. This project can well solve the actual needs of the people and has positive and good social significance." While he was talking at length, Grandma Li was unhappy again. "Old man, you invited him over as a guest, not for a class or a meeting. Do you think you still need to worry about national affairs?" The old man stared at his wife awkwardly. Lu Chan laughed in his heart. He found that in fact, the two elders of the Li family were not much different from ordinary old people. He quickly smoothed things over. "Grandpa Li said it very well. I have a lot to learn from Grandpa Li." Grandma, what are you talking about?" At this time, Li Mushi came out and asked curiously. Lu Chan smiled and said, "I'm talking to Grandpa Li about bike sharing." When they came out of the Li family's old house, it was already dark. Lu Chan did not let Li Mubai send him. He took Chun Fei for a walk all the way back. There was a car waiting outside. He took Chun Fei's hand and said, "Let's go home too." "Okay." Chun Fei nodded. In a week it would be the new year.